Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to UCL over here on Upsurge. As you guys know, UCL has a very special place in my heart because my name is Travesty. I'm joined here by Guster. And Gus, we got some hot, fresh contenders. We're taking it out the oven. We're going to be consuming some fine League of Legends content. Are you ready for this? Have you brought your appetite? Have you brought your bib?
I brought my hot sauce. I think we're good to go. These contendies are fresh and ready to be done. Not quite the contendies we were expecting on casting tonight. There was a bit of a reschedule and things are too late for our friends on the East Coast to participate in the broadcast. So unfortunately, instead of the finals, we'll be bringing you the third place match instead here. But word has it that we'll be hosting the stream for the finals later on right here on the Upsurge channel. So look forward to that later on. But for now, we've got a matchup between some very interesting looking teams here as we got Maelstrom taking on Lane Zero Inferno.
Yeah, this is going to be looking like a very fun matchup. We actually got to see Maelstrom on stream last week and their attempt to go against Purdue, and it had some pretty close games and had some very exciting games as well. I know I just about blew my voice out in game one of that series. And Lane Zero, they're going to be coming in here hot. You know what, Lane Zero? If you're going to have a name that sounds like it's a team that is a part of an anime or some sort, that's Lane Zero right there, right? This is the anime team. These guys, they probably all hate the fact that I just referenced their team as the anime team, but they definitely got
Well, when you put a colon in your name, like they got Lane :Zero Inferno, you know, it kind of reminds you of like, I don't know, there's tons of animes with stuff like that in there. So too many to name. There you go. But you know, you kind of get looked at like the edgy team, you know, especially when your name is Inferno. You know, it just kind of brings you back to high school when you like to play with lighters in the back of the school bus. You know, that sort of thing. So, but you know, both these teams just missed out on making it to the finals, just ever so close. So these teams are legit here. Actually, Lane Zero Inferno had a really close match. It went to Game 5. They lost 3-2 to First Blood Knights, who is playing against Purdue University later on. Whereas Maelstrom did end up losing 3-0. But you were just talking about how your voice almost died Game 1 in that series due to Maelstrom having a 10K gold lead and the game going on for, I think it was like a 45, 50-minute game that went really long, and Purdue ended up winning. And Game 2 was really close as well. So it's not like Maelstrom just rolled over.
Yeah, it's not like it at all, but that does show a very unique possibility that we could be looking at here inside of this game where one team's mentality, when they were ahead, they weren't able to find ways to close out. While you look over on the other side, Lane Zero was the team that grit their teeth. They bared it, and they brought the match to First Blood. So you got to think right now, if you're looking at these two teams on paper, looking at their games on the sides, you have some tough matchups here. We're already getting in the pick and ban here, and the Mordekaiser ban right off the get-go.
Yeah, talk about tough matchups. There aren't a lot of champions that can stand up to Mordekaiser in the 1v1 or up on the side lane without some help. You know, there are some things, just the traditional side lane champions, if they're fed, can deal with him. Something like a Jax or a Darius if he's really fed, or a Fiora. You know, something like that can deal with him. But if they're even, Mordekaiser just kind of wins. So definitely makes sense to ban him out. Nautilus ban coming out as well. One of the premier engaged supports. Obviously has his point and click depth charge and his hook and the root on his auto and the slow on his E. Everything he does has some sort of CC on it, except for the shield. But if you count that as the auto, it's a root too. So champ with all the CC put in the kit taken away, and they banned Caitlyn, but the pro draft tool seemed to have bugged. So banning one of the most lane dominant AD carries that there is in the Caitlyn.
Yeah, and you were talking about dominant. Let's talk about Ryze. That's a very dominant champion getting taken away. We saw it have 100% pick ban in the last week's series. So we're going to have to see exactly how it's going to come into play, if it's going to be a permaban on red side. And it looks like so far the answer is yes in game 1. But now it is going to be UTA looking for what they're going to be picking up here and banning on out. So it is going to be the Gragas being taken away from Lane Zero.
Yeah, so Gragas, very strong early, mid jungler, even late game. He scales up pretty well. You build AP on him nowadays because your damage reduction that's built into your W skill scales okay with AP. Once you get a certain amount of AP, you can get up to almost 30% damage reduction, something close to that when you're full build. So building AP makes him do a lot of damage. And then Galio taken away as well, and insta-locking Cassiopeia. Rise got taken away, but they picked the other Conqueror Mage, and following that up with the Senna pick.
Yeah, and the Senna pick's been a very interesting one. We've seen it flit around to AD carry support in mid lane in the past, I'd say, week or so between both you and me. And it's been a very interesting pick to see people picking up and trying to use it in different areas. I'm going to be curious to see where they decide to put this Senna, but very, very strong champion in the right hands.
Yeah, definitely. And you see Sennas that take the Dark Harvest end up doing a ton of damage. And that's not just some sort of freak pun. It's actually what happens. The range she gets and the just damage that she gets from her passive stacking up just makes it real easy to proc things. And if you build Black Cleaver on her, each auto or spell counts as 2 stacks for the Black Cleaver. So you just need to auto-Q auto, and your Black Cleaver is fully shredding their armor all the way to the full 24%. So if you have a full AD team, Senna is actually a very strong support to pair with them just for that Black Cleaver interaction. They have Jinx locked in here, but in chat they're saying it was Rek'Sai. Their timer ran out, and when that happens in Pro Draft, it just locks you in a random champion. So that is a Rek'Sai, not a Jinx.
Yeah, Rek'Sai, Senna is the pick. Very strong champions here, but we were talking about strong. You can't just leave Olaf out of the conversation. He has become a monster with Conqueror.
Yeah, definitely. I played against one in Clash last night. I was Nocturne. I was doing pretty okay. I walk up mid to just kind of contest this Olaf who's pushing up on the tower. He just presses R and Qs me and smacks me with his E1 auto, and I almost died, and I flashed out and was like, okay, we're not doing that anymore. So yeah, Olaf, very strong early game just in his kit and the way he works, but you add in that Conquer for that extra AD, plus that adds extra healing, which he can amplify with his own W, so lots of stuff to look out for from Olaf, and with this Conquer, he scales just a little bit better than he otherwise would.
Now, interesting thing here, Aatrox was locked on in, but it does look like the Rakan being taken away. They do not want the Rakan Xayah lane to be coming out on the side of UTA. And it does leave an interesting idea of what pools do you look to pinch in this scenario.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because they're going to ban out Syndra, who is a very versatile champion. Can be played mid, can be played as the bottom lane carry as well. But they have Senna, who could be the AD carry, who could be mid, who could be the support. So it's really hard for them to decide which lane to pinch. They may just take away Syndra and another traditional mid laner, perhaps, to just try and do that, or they'll just ban out the Lucian as well and see if they can force that Senna to be the carry in the lane, which it looks like she will be, unless that's the mid lane Senna.
Yeah, and this does draw a very interesting idea here as we see this comp. They do not have a ton of siege potential actually with Senna AD carry, so it does mean we have to keep our eyes on exactly what they're going to be looking for and to finish up their draft. Now UTA, they got the answer in their pocket. Do they go ahead and accept that Senna is an AD carry and pick it up? And it looks like the answer to this might be yes with this pick. If they lock it in.
Okay.
Oh, baby.
Well, Blitzcrank is not exactly something that you kind of think of playing into something like the Olaf or like a Leona or something, because if you hook in the Alistair, he doesn't have to use his headbutt to gap close. Then he can pulverize you and headbutt you away from your team if you pull him in. So definitely have to be careful with the Blitzcrank hooks. Senna is very susceptible to hooks and other ways to catch her out. So that's one reason why they would probably pick the Blitzcrank here. It's just you got to be careful not to hook the wrong person, because you hook in Rek'Sai or Aatrox or Alistair. If it's just you and Xayah, things could be a little hairy there.
Could be a sticky situation. Now the last pick coming out from lane 0 here. They got the pick to figure out exactly how their solo lanes are going to pair out now that they see the full picture. And their pick is going to be a J4, it seems.
I think that was another random...
Was it?
the timer hit 0, so I'm just kind of assuming that it was
That
like
was
that.
Vilcaz. It was Vilcaz.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a Vilcaz. I was about to say J4.
I mean, I've played against Jarvan mids before. It can work into certain matchups. Probably not into Cassiopeia. You just kind of have to all in over and over and over again and just pray that you win. But Vel'Koz as a matchup into Cassio makes sense. You know, you can poke her out with the Qs and wave clear with the W, and I've seen Vel'Koz's. They swap between maxing Q and W, but lately I've seen a lot of W maxes just for wave clear. And early on, Cassio doesn't have a ton of mana to work with unless she's perfectly last hitting with her E, because you do get the mana regen that way. And once you get a tier, that really works well because then you gain mana on the tier, plus you get it restored by killing things. But early on, you can burn through her mana pool really easily, and if you just clear the wave over and over again and force the wave under her tower, she's going to have a hard time last hitting if she ends up having to burn mana to try and contest you pushing her under. Later on, though, you know, they have some nerfs in store for Conqueror for things like the Rise and Cassio, but it's mainly on the healing, and that's kind of... It's part of the reason why Conqueror is so strong on Rise and Cassio, but it's not the only reason. Adding the adaptive force as it's charging up gives Rise and Cassio a decent amount of AP before they can actually get AP out of their itemization. Because, you know, on Rise and Cassio, you need a tier or you need to build Rod of Ages first. So when you get extra AP just from your runes, that stacks up really strong. You add in the healing, that helps too, but just having that extra little bit of AP helps, especially early on. And that's kind of why Rise and Cassio are so strong, is that their early game weakness has just kind of been mitigated by Conqueror being a thing.
Yeah, I absolutely agree on that one. I do want to ask you with this, though. I was talking about it earlier. When I look at lane 0, and this is just a huge glaring issue that I see in this composition. Senna does not take objectives very fastly. Is this going to be a problem that they may have to deal with as we go into the mid game? Because there's a lot of people that burn through objectives on the side of UTA.
It definitely could be a problem, at least later on. If they're not as ahead as they'd want to be, it could be a little scary because you can have this Irelia flanking and Olaf just running at you and there's nothing you can do about it. And if Cassio's able to chase you down, it could be pretty scary. Plus, there's always the hook of the hook. There's always the threat of getting hooked by Blitzcrank. So once they set up a siege, there are ways for Maelstrom to break it and find a way to open it up. But Senna is kind of like Jhin as far as sieges go. You know, they both attack pretty slow. Jhin does do more damage because he's allowed to crit turrets with his 4th shot. But, you know, it'll be hard for them to break a siege without good flanks or just Olaf and Blitzcrank doing something crazy, because they have to run through Vel'Koz, they have to run through his CC, they have to run through the Senna route, and if they get past that, there's still an Alistar waiting for them. So once they do get a siege set up, they have the tools to make it last long enough for Senna and Vel'Koz to take a tower or an objective or something. It's just up to Maelstrom, if those sieges get set up, to find flanks and creative ways to break the siege. Maybe throw out a Miasma and have Blitzcrank go running in or something.
Yeah, I mean, they do have some creative ways to go for it. They have a bunch of different tools that they can possibly go for if they get control over the map. That's a very big thing to take part of. When it comes down to the jungle matchup, I gotta say, man, we gotta talk about this jungle matchup here in the early to mid game, because I feel like jungle has become the most important role here in competitive League of Legends, just because there's just so much to do and so many options that if you do your job poorly, it definitely shows on your team here. When it comes down to Olaf Rek'Sai, these are two people that have risen up in popularity. How are you feeling when you look at these two going against each other? Is there anything specific that we gotta keep our eyes out for?
Whoever gets the advantage early can snowball it really hard. Both of these champions, Olaf and Rek'Sai, are very strong early game. We'll see whether or not Rek'Sai decides to go for Conqueror, because Hail of Blades is still sort of popular on her. She did get changed the past couple patches to where her Q actually does work on towers now. So if they, like, for example, if they go up and kill Chuck T's Irelia up in the top lane, Revenant and Take 1-1 can go up to the tower and really get some plates down early. Whereas before, you just kind of used the Q as a single auto reset and just sat there smacking it. But now you do the extra damage to it as well and use up the Q, so it's back on cooldown for another reset. So pushing with Rek'Sai when you're up against the tower is a lot better than it used to be. That being said, though, I do think Olaf scales better into the late game than Rek'Sai, because, you know, Rek'Sai goes in, and if you're building this bruiser, she just will end up getting CC'd or locked up or just die before she, or after she uses her ult to try to dodge something or try to execute someone. Whereas Olaf, if he's strong enough, he'll just run through and not care and heal everything back up. So,
well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I just need to remind you, if you want to heal it on up and get all the way inside the enemy jungle, if you want to dive in there and make sure you are the #1 reason your team wins the game, let me tell you about a place. It's a magical place. You can look it up. It's called Kono.store. That's right. Kono is a sponsor here over in Upsurge, and they just give you the highest performing keyboards on the market to make sure that you're able to just game out of your mind. You want to get high elo? The secret is there. You just go to Kono.store. That's Kono.store. And you'll be able to find yourself with the highest of elo, the highest of presence of mind, and the highest way to be able to play the game. With that being said, make sure you check them out, Kono.store. Thank you guys so much for checking them out. And thank you, Kono, for making sure that a scrub like me can perform mediocrely at the very least. So, with that being said, we're going to take ourselves a short break. We'll be right back with some Contenders. Don't go anywhere. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on back to Upsurge as we bring you the hottest Contenders. We're in game 1. Aatrox is slamming his blade on the ground. He's hype. I'm hype. I'm Travesty. My co-caster's Guster. Let's get in this game.
Yeah, we got some spicy picks. Rek'Sai did end up taking the Hail of Blade, so looking for more of an early game impact than the later power that Conqueror would bring. Got your Comet on Vel'Koz. We got that Dark Harvest Senna because the last time I casted a Senna, she went Fleet Footwork and it didn't work out too well. I think it might have been Maelstrom who picked it.
I gotta say real quick, early advantage goes over the lane 0. They got that ward, the early sweeping trinket coming into full effect. You saw Olaf actually bat and got himself a sweeper.
Yeah, I mean that's something that junglers do, is either start with the sweeper or they just go and will place down their ward and recall as quickly as they can, and then buy sweeper to come out. So maybe they have the sweeper on their first clear, just to try to, you know, fish out the first gank. But Aatrox doing that little bit of damage, that's going to win him the lane.
Well, hey, look, man, we were talking about it earlier. This top lane is actually another interesting case of these are two people that can snowball pretty hard. You gotta look at Aurelia and be like, all right, Aurelia can't get in, but Aatrox is laning. We all know. We've all had a full season of Aatrox in the top lane. We know how it feels to lane against this monster.
Yeah, well, now he doesn't do any damage to minions, so it takes him a long time to push. So
yeah, they made him. They weakened him a little bit. They busted his kneecaps.
I can't believe people aren't playing Urgot anymore. Like, Urgot with his toggle W is so much fun.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I don't understand it either. Neither team picked it. Shame, shame, shame. But yeah, as we know, Urgot, you know, fun as can be. But now the Senna, I'm very curious to see how the Senna is going to work with the Dark Harvest, because you were hyping up the amount of damage that the Senna can do, and I want to see if it lives up to the hype.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of build she decides to go for there, because you can build just crit Senna with, well, I mean, you probably want to end up buying an Infinity Edge at some point anyway, because you get so much free crit chance out of your passive. You might as well amplify the crit damage. Even though it's reduced a bit, kind of like Yasuo, it's still very nice to have. And if you do end up maxing out on crit, you gain lifesteal from your passive instead. I'm not sure what the actual conversion on it is, but once you hit that 100% crit, any extra crit from the passive just turns into lifesteal. So I've seen some Sennas just do like Essence Reaver Infinity Edge and then some lethality, or just go straight lethality and then an Infinity Edge later. And I've seen Sennas build Tear into Muramana as well. So lots of different builds. It's kind of like when Kai'Sa first came out. Everyone's trying to figure out exactly what's going on here.
You took the words right out of my mouth there. I was about to just say, it feels like a Kai'Sa. It's just your kit doesn't upgrade. It's just the way you do damage changes. And it's a very unique thing because everybody's found these different paths. And there's still so many still after this champion's been out for so long now, where people are still like, no, I like the Muramana rush. And I like going the more crit to get the extra lifesteal into the late game. It has made this champion just very enjoyable to watch indeed.
Yeah, I've even seen them when they're laning against a mage support like a Xerath or a Lux or something. Just even when they're the ADC, they start building towards Athenes just for the MR and mana. They build the Chalice and end up building in Athenes just to, you know, help out with the healing a little bit, because you know, you have AP ratios on your stuff too, so the AP's not the worst thing in the world, and if you need that little bit of MR, it'll help out.
Yeah, it feels crazy to actually have.
Look at this early roam.
Do this, but check this early roam. 3 people into the mid lane. Cure flashing early to show the respect there. Still takes a lot of damage back from the Vel'Koz, but this team already showing that they want to put some pressure on this cast.
Yeah, and if Aatrox is able to get back up there, only missing 1 or 2 minions, he has a big old wave to pick up.
A lot of damage put onto him. Bodas is going to be able to get into that Ray form and get up out of dodge, but took a huge heaping amount of damage, and this is where the Blitzcrank comes into play.
Yeah, like I said, if you hook an Alistar, things are trouble, but if you get that Senna, you hit the jackpot. So, you know, you gotta be really careful if you're Bodas there, because the Blitzcrank can either hurt himself or really score a jackpot there.
Really good. And now look at this. Here we go. Headbutt Pulverize coming on in. They're going to get the hook onto the minion, not onto Senna. Gets a knock up onto him, but there is Rek'Sai into the backside. Senna's trying to get himself around the roundabout. Rek'Sai's flash is going to be able to get the kill. First blood goes on over to Alistar. Now they're looking to turn this on to the Aurelia. Can he get the flash headbutt? He's going to get the stun, but Kieran dies in the mid lane solo kill. Aatrox is here. Party has not stopped just yet. Dubious Alistar. He's going to get an amazing hook, and Olaf's in the backside. He's ready to clean this on up. Double kill going over the Chuck. He is looking to continue this on forward. A triple kill going to the Aurelia, and we all know how that feels.
Yeah, not only that, she already has the executioners, but we're not done fighting just yet.
No, they're not. They're looking for more action. Olaf, a dangerous champion. The more low
the beam!
He's going to be able to get the kill. The disintegration beam going to be able to help him out with that. Revron gets that kill. It's going to be Aatrox that's going to go down. Is he going to be able to get a triple kill of his own? Chuck T is going to have to play a dangerous game here. He's just trying to push his way on out. The stun is going to be able to land onto Aatrox. His HP is dropping down so very low. Is it going to be a triple kill? Shutdown going over, and both these top laners start off with 3 kills, but the action's not done yet. Kira is looking for another kill. He wants LaMelo, but LaMelo is going to be able to get on out of there.
These Contenders came just out of the fryer. They're still hot. There's still a little bit of oil left on them. Things are getting crazy, and we're going for more.
Yeah, that's what you were talking about. I'm about to say, Take One is about to go in there and add an extra layer of that hot and spicy.
Wow, okay, so to kind of see what just happened, Chuck T had Executioner's Calling when he teleported down. So he didn't get that with his 3 kills, but he bought a Phage. Whereas Aatrox got the Caulfield's Warhammer and the Kindle Gem, which is something you see a lot of Riven and Aatrox players do, just to get the 20% CDR, because you're going to be building Black Cleaver and Death Stance. And, you know, having that CDR is almost better than the completed items themselves on something like the Aatrox. So getting that CDR early is really nice. Plus it gives you a bit of AD and some health. So he's sitting pretty. But, you know, that Irelia having those 3 kills is very scary. Even though she did die, accelerating her like that, and she does have a bit of a CS lead, just a little bit over a wave of CS lead here. It's pretty scary, and she can still take over this game. Either of these top laners can with 3 kills like that.
Yeah, absolutely on that one, man. Aatrox, of course, coming out a little bit on top, did get the shutdown gold, which actually added up to being a little bit more. So he got the final laugh, but it's only 100 gold. Now we're seeing them jumping on each other. The World Ender has been popped. Reverend's trying to do what he'll be able to do. He's finding himself.
Look at that
Blades! Chuck T showing it on off. He almost takes up a solo kill of his own on Revenant. Comparing ults did not work out well for this Aatrox.
Yeah, and just having the Grievous Wounds at this point in the game really makes a difference there, because, you know, Aatrox gets that bonus healing off of his ultimate, and especially when you land that passive auto, that's a big old chunk of healing that you get. But when it gets cut down only 40%, you know, or gets cut down by 40%, it's definitely starts adding up. When you got someone that's able to do that much DPS like the Irelia with Conquer and her passive running, even in Aatrox, until he gets like Death Stance and the Spirit Visage or something, really won't be able to out-sustain that at this point.
I 100% agree with you. This is actually just thinking the long con said, you know what, this Grievous Wounds is going to be able to help me out, and we're already seeing it come into play. Rek'Sai has to be thinking about staying closer to the top side next time a potential 1v1 comes in, and playing spoiler for Aurelia, because Aurelia definitely looking like got Aatrox's number at this current state of the game.
Yeah, but playing towards the top side so much will leave these dragons unguarded, and we have an Infernal, and since it's first, there will not be any more, so it kind of puts a premium on it, because if you want that 5% boost, this is your only chance to get it.
TPs are down for both top laners as well, so we could see the Nets fight just between these 2 top laners being another teleport war to come on out, but Olaf very good at being able to take this Drake very quickly and clearing that ward. It's got to already, just that alone puts out so much pressure, it seems like.
Well, yeah, look, everyone on the red side, just like when you kind of tap a hornet's nest and you hear the inside and they start coming out, you're poking the hornet's nest by clearing that ward. But here's Revnon.
Yeah, he doesn't have the mana here. Oh, Revnon actually butchered, he hit a minion there instead of tethering the Cassiopeia, so unfortunate there. Just hit it the wrong way.
Well, she flashed, so probably would have just been able to flash away from the W. So either way, definitely something you want to mitigate is those little things like hitting minions with your CC spells.
Yeah. He hits it on the Aurelia here, which is great. No minions were there to block it. And here we go. That is going to be first Drake to come on over. Blitzcrank's hand almost playing God hand at that point, taking the Drake from him.
So that's very good, especially for, you know, Senna is one of those champions that scales really well with raw AD. The more raw AD she has, the more her crits will do. Even though her crits are reduced, you just get a bunch of AD, and her ultimate and her Q will do that much more damage. You know, AP helps out Vel'Koz, but most of his is base damage and on his passive, so, you know, he's not really the biggest fan of super duper raw AP, but he's more of a fan of the magic resist and just making sure that his base damages come through. But no one will say no to an Infernal Drake.
Blitzcrank hook goes a little bit wide. I want to point out, Senna actually did go for the Muramana build. So it's going to be going that route here. So is not going that crit route. What's the Muramana going to really entail here then for the playstyle of the Senna?
It just lets you spam your Qs. You know, you get the CDR out of it later on. Or actually, I don't think you do. I'm thinking of just.
They're jumping onto the Cassiopeia. Take one. Is going to be able to get that one secured. H-Shots yet again. A little bit late for that game, but hey, able to get the kill very cleanly. And this Rek'Sai showing a lot of early pressure here.
That's what you need to do when you take the Hail of Blades. You got to make stuff happen. They're going to transition into a Rift Herald, but just having the Muramana on the Senna will give you just so much more mana to just cast your Q over and over again because its cooldown gets reduced every time you auto attack. Plus, once you have the Muramana, that extra damage that it does will help out as well. But teleport coming in, they don't want to do this.
Something here. Cassiopeia is over here in the area. They're going to be jumping in. Chucky's going to mount up, going down immediately. Senna's ult's going to be able to come on through. Sure gets that kill. That's going to be a huge two-man stun, and it's just the cleanup crew. Where are you at? It's going to be Alistair coming in here, trying to play clutch, trying to play savior, but it's just not enough. And now it's going to be the Dark Lord Matthew. He's going to find himself still getting knocked up, still getting chased down. You might be unbreakable, but you ain't unshakable. Dark Lord Matthew goes on down.
And a fantastic response from Maelstrom to come up to the Rift Herald. And even though they lost Chuck T nearly instantly, they still find a way to come through for the rest of the kills. So great response from Maelstrom after Cure ended up dying in the mid lane by denying them the objective afterward.
I mean, we got to talk about the fact that was a beautiful, like, Cure immediately turned around and turned that entire fight with that petrifying gaze. And that's why you were talking about it earlier in Pick Van Phase. This is one of the premier Conqueror users. She got so strong with Conqueror. Oh, wait. Zeta is in a tricky spot. He does not have Ragnarok available. He's going to find himself getting headbutt pulverized. He's going to find himself just getting taken down. That is shut down going over into LaMelo's pocket.
But you see how much damage Zeta did to take one just before he died. Zeta was like at 3/4 health and dropped him down to about 1/3 health. So Conquer Olaf is nothing to mess with, but...
Oh no, LaMelo, he misses the geometry and he gets bait by it. He gets immediately jumped onto. And that is going to be a lot of HP gone for him. He needs to be very careful about that. Oh, no, Ray! He is just absolutely annihilating the HP bar. Now Chuck T is going to be the target. They're going to be looking for him. The World Ender has been used. They're looking to jump onto the backside. Chuck T's trying to jump on the take one, trying to go in and execute him out. He's going to be able to pick up that kill. Now it is Cure over here on the side. He got Herald sitting there autoing away on the side of lane 0. It is going to be a huge double man knockup. They're going to be able to get the kill. Chuck T is still alive. Has a double kill going currently. Looking to get his resets. He's got the jumps. There's a lot of damage coming out still. Revenant's going to find himself being able to pick up that kill. Now it's going to be the kill going over onto Revenant yet again. Double kill as LaMelo is just poking off at the side, laying out free damage. Absolutely a free shooter. Now Zeta, it could be another 1v1, but that undertow, that is axes. They hurt. They can come in clutch, and LaMelo has to run on away.
Yeah, but all of a sudden LaMelo is 5-0.
Oh, wait, LaMelo!
He's got him!
The kill! LaMelo absolutely disintegrating the HP bar of Zeta.
Yeah, and Zeta feeling the flow a little bit after he did so much damage. Just got a little bit greedy, and Bodefast lands the root. Bodefast will just kind of walk away, but you see how much damage the Senna can do just even at this point of the game, just with the Manamune and a serrated Dirk. So probably going to go for that Dusk Blade as the common item. On support Senna, I've seen a lot of the Umbral Glaive just for the extra ward sweeping potential. But on carry Senna, it's generally just the Dusk Blade for the extra damage because you can reset it with your Wraith form. And, you know, it's decent damage, especially later on. It gets stronger and stronger. So, never can deny some free damage.
Oh, Bodas getting jumped onto there yet again, trying to lay out some damage with Dubious Alistair, but not going to be able to pick up anything off of that. And Shelly's being called into the mid lane because there's nobody here to contest this, and they have the lane priority here.
Yeah, they're going to just use it as a distraction to try and go for this dragon. They already got the Inferno, trying to add a mountain to their collection. So we'll see if they can pull it off or not.
He's up for Chuck T. They could be looking for him, trying to set up wards. They are going to be able to look for something here on the side. That's going to be a stolen Mountain Drake. They're looking to try and carry this on back. Lane 0 is going to be able to pick up one. It's going to be Dubious Al, so it's going to be taken on out. But you do have so many huge members here in the bat side. Lane 0 is fighting this one on out. Chuck T's finding his HP bar drop. And this Vel'Koz is just absolutely decimating. It's your turn. Welcome to the Death Rush party of you. Take One's going to be able to pick up that kill for himself. He tunnels on out of there. The poison ticks away, but not enough to keep him at bay. The Mellow now over here in the mid lane. And this Vel'Koz is 8-1-5 right now.
Yeah, and things are going to go from bad to worse if they don't find a way to shut him down as Kier's trying to chase him.
Oh!
He's lucky that his ultimate wasn't up. Otherwise, Kier would be dead once again.
Oh my god, I found the cure, and this disintegration is the answer, man. This is just... Vel'Koz is putting on a claim. His positioning is just about picture perfect in all of these fights, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, especially in that fight near the Rift Turtle where he managed to come out and even pick up that last kill onto Zeta, too. He was pretty close to being able to be jumped on the whole time, but he knows the range on his Q, use the geometry to extend it, get those angles going, get out the protractor and find the poke. But, you know, when he's 8-1-5, it's like, what do you do to him at this point? As you can see, he's pinging that he himself has a 700 gold bounty. So he's definitely got to keep this positioning up if he doesn't want to give that over. But the way the Drakes are rolling, we have an Ocean Rift. So if the side of Lane 0 Inferno gets the Ocean Soul, their siege is pretty much unbreakable. Because all they have to do is just land some poke and they get a massive boost of healing. Plus, just the Ocean Drakes themselves, they have the opportunity to get 3 of them since they did end up losing this Mountain Drake. So they will need 3 Ocean Drakes in order to get the Soul. If they were able to pull that off, they'll just be able to siege the entire rest of the game. Even maybe with 2 Ocean Drakes, even though they only do missing health now, still, if you start to get poked down in a siege, it'll just keep you topped off, and, you know, it doesn't get mana anymore, so throw a blue buff on the Mellow, and Bodas will have his Muramana done soon enough.
Ooh, check this out. We are seeing some action coming out here. Dubious Alistair's going to get jumped onto. That's a lot of damage going his way. That's going to be a huge silence AoE, but here's Zeta in the bat side. They're looking to turn this on around. Zeta is going to be able to pick up the kill on the Revenant. Now Take One's going to be able to pick a kill on the bat side on Dubious Alistair. And this Alistair is trying to just do what he can. He headbutts into the tower. Disintegration Ray goes on off, and it's just enough. The Mellow is godlike, no pun intended. He is just that freaking good this game.
Yeah, one Alistair was dubious, the other not so much. He did the fantastic combo, knocking Zeta around after the
Kira's on a bad spot here. Take One is going to jump
yes,
on.
petrifying
There's going to
gaze.
be a lot of damage coming on out. Senna is going to go ahead and lay out some damage back into it, but that's going to be one kill.
Oh, good flash.
Sam. He is going to find himself getting taken out. His comes up as cleanup crew, gives him a little pokey dab, and he's going to go on down. Man, oh man, Lane 0 is taking every positional error that the side of Maverick and just absolutely just jumping onto him and taking care of it. That's Maelstrom just struggling to find the right position to be in against this team.
It looked like they were in the right position. They caught out the 2 with 3 or 4 of their own, but then it just gets turned around out of nowhere. You always have to keep an eye on the Dawning Shadow from Senna because it's global. And, you know, she's building lethality, so it will do more damage. She has the Edge of Night now, just so that way she doesn't get randomly blitz crank cooked. That's probably a better idea than the Duskblade at this point in time. But now LaMelo's 9-1, and, you know, he's going to be a strong boy.
Mm-hmm.
He already is a strong boy.
Yeah, I was about to say, what you mean he's going to be? He's been a strong boy ever since laning phase. He has been putting up some numbers, and right now, it becomes a question, how do you get onto him? You got to find a way to get onto this Vel'Koz and disrupt the way they have their composition positioned.
Yeah, and I don't know what he wants to build this amplifying
here we go.
into.
Zeta is in a situation. He's looking to just take the red buff here.
You got it!
He's going to be able to get it, but it's just going to be a buff transfer. Thank you for bringing it back to Take One.
Yeah, I think Bodas would have liked to get it, but, you know, Olaf got the 100 gold for the buff itself, and then Rek'Sai got the 300 for killing him. And now Rek'Sai has a pretty decent shutdown, 400 gold as well, so they're definitely looking at it. This Ocean Drake come up in 20 seconds, so a pretty bad time for Zeta to try to be invading solo. Is that 2016, 2017 Svenskeren?
Well, I mean, it's at least the cosplay of it here. But Cure is going to be backing on up. You can see, look at this position they have. They have vision of them over here. So they know Lane Zero is posturing for them to abuse any kind of greedy positioning, but it is going to be this Drake. And oh my god, this Vel'Koz helps out with so many of their issues when it came down to looking at the draft. It's just decimated that Dragon's HP bar. Oh, but
oh no!
He's dead, but the disintegration.
Oh my lord!
He absolutely hundreds and zero. The Dawning Shadow able to pick up the kill. They're not done yet either. Zeta is going to find himself going down to double kill. The World Ender on the backside. Revenant.
He lives!
He's like a heal tank in the backline. That one is just Cure looking for what he'll be able to do.
And the
but
root.
He's going to be served up by Dark Lord Matthew. And that is another kill going over to Bodas as Lane Zero just ace the side of Maelstrom.
Look at what Lane Zero was able to do. They turned a Blitzcrank hook that ended in a kill into an ace. How does that happen? How is that allowed to happen? They have one minion here, so they will have the backdoor bonus taken off of this tower. They're going to get it eventually. Probably not going to stick around for the inhib, but turning someone getting Blitzcrank hooked into an ace is absolutely insane. How did Lane Zero manage to do that? And I'll tell you why. It's because LaMelo is so strong. You saw him just firing his ultimate, kill Blitzcrank, and nearly killed Aurelia.
He's about to get caught up, but it's just going to be a fate. LaMelo's there to back him up again, and there's two of them are going to be able to take out Zeta. And Baron is up, and it's on the table if they want to go for it.
Oh, he got it too. Blitzcrank pulled it, but it died to LaMelo. But yeah, and that's the problem with Olaf at this point in the game. You know, he has the Black Cleaver because he was doing pretty well for himself, but now at this point, he's just kind of the run in and die guy, and now Dubious Alistair.
Go into Blitzcrank, run in and die indeed here. He gets a great flash over the wall. He's slowed down. He's trying to figure out what the right path to take is. He's going to take the path that gets him closer to a tower. It's going to be Cure. Huge petrifying gaze.
The shutdown would be huge.
And that's a huge shutdown going on over. But is it going to be enough? You're seeing the thrill of the hunt. They're jumping on in. He is going to go ahead and pop that watch. Go golden, but it's not going to be enough. It's them going to be able to. The hunt for this thing continues, though. Cure goes on down. The Revenant is going to be Chuck looking for someone, looking for that Vanguard's edge, but just out of range. Revenant still over on the backside, poking away. Gets a little hit onto Sim, but it is just going to be the dance around Baron to continue.
Yeah, they definitely want to try and do the Baron, but I don't know if they're able to without Cure here.
Wait. Look at the mind game here. Dark Lord trying to say, I'm going to mind game the heck out of you. Ragnarok was popped. Is not going to be disabled, not going to be snared. But a little bit of mind games being played by Dark Lord there.
Yeah, he's trying to bait him in close to the tower, make him blow the Ragnarok, which he did, so that won't be up for a little bit here. And if they're going to try to go for Baron, but LaMelo and Take want to respond.
Look at LaMelo. They're looking for it. The hook is going to connect onto Dark Lord Matthew, but I don't know if that's the target you want, as Aatrox is going to be able to pick up the kill onto him. Now Chutney's getting dropped down so very low. The Dawning Shadow coming on through. Disintegration as LaMelo just wipes Chuck T's HP bar. By God.
And I think this is kind of the comp you want to run with Senna as your carry, is to have something long-range mage in the mid lane. Something like this Vel'Koz or like a Zoe, perhaps, would be very complementary to the Senna as we're seeing here. And, you know, I think LaMelo's not going to be able to play Vel'Koz anymore this series.
No, I don't believe so at this point in time. It's definitely looking like something that you need to figure out exactly what your answer is going to be for, because Cassiopeia, very strong champion, and we're seeing Cure actually doing some very mechanically sound things. But LaMelo having this Vel'Koz in his pocket has made this very scary. Now he's going to run into this Olaf. This Olaf is actually very tanky, can't get disabled. He's going to be able to pick up the kill, and that's huge. Zeta being able to figure that out. He is going to go for that 1v1 and get that 1-to-1 trade. This does mean the Drake is going to be looking very uncontested, as Take 1 is still up and alive.
Yeah, I mean, Zeta will respawn before the Dragon spawns. There's a chance for him to run in, but just the way the rest of the teams are stacked up right now, it definitely looks like it's going to be a rough time for Maelstrom to contest this one here. And, you know, you do want to deny them the Ocean Drakes because of the way their comp will function. But at the same time, if you give up another ace, you're going to give up your base at the very least. And Chuck is trying to push up here in the top lane. Did get one tower and pushing a wave onto the second tower here with 20 seconds before the Drake. Looks like they're just going to try to clear the wave up there and come back down for it as Chuck backs on away.
Yep, Chuck is going to back on up here. There is a lot of resources over there towards the top side. This does mean that they have a big weakness here with Rek'Sai being shown over into the top side. Aurelia is free to push this in for a
Revenant.
If they go for it, they're going to jump into Revenant. He is going to find himself hooked and taken out. The Miasma will secure him from being able to do much of anything else.
They're still scared, though.
They are. Yeah, well, there's a Vel'Koz in the back, guys, and he is terrifying. They're melting down the Ocean Drake. It's going to come down to a smite fight. It's going to go on over to the Aloft. Pure is going to find himself getting taken on out. Dubious Alistair going to be the next one on the list, but Aurelia's over on the backside, just split pushing away. As Romello is going to be able to get another one. Botas is legendary. Zeta finding his HP bar, the next one to be contested. Ooh. They have to do something here as Aurelia is just opening up their base. They're looking for more, and that's the burst of damage coming on out. Zeta's going to find himself suffering as Sen forced the flash on out, but nobody is answering this Aurelia. She's going to be able to get this tower for free as the Aatrox is going to be here in the area. Can the Aatrox defend against this Aurelia by himself? Rek'Sai is looking to go ahead and back, so it will be another person. He just has to survive. The Vanguard's Edge has been used. Renda's not going to be able to get the first knockup, gets the second one, and here comes take one. He's going to be looking with the Prey Seeker to go ahead and secure this kill. That's the Dawn of Shadow. Going to be able to fit that on up, and that is going to be take one, picking up that kill clean as a whistle. Dark Lord now taking on Kira. They're going to be able to pop him. Kira, where did your HP bar go? Sim's going to be able to fit that one on up, but now it's going to be Bodas in the backside, just playing janitor. And this could be the game here. Zeta is still left alive.
Yeah, we've got Sem and Zeta trying to do everything they can.
They're looking for him. He gets the pull. Dark Lord Matthew pulverizes his HP bar into oblivion. And that is going to be yet another kill. Zeta is the sole member left to defend. And it is going to be Lane Zero looking to take this one as he's looking to just kill that Alistair. Dark Lord Matthew, he feeds off of your hate as he picks up game one. It is Lane Zero leading this series one game now, and boy oh boy, what a game one.
Yeah, early on it seemed pretty even, but then that one fight, even, you know, I really got those 3 kills early. Then Aatrox answered with 3 of his own, but that wasn't even the star of the show. LaMelo just out of nowhere went 15, 4, and 15. So, you know, you can't imagine that he's gonna get Vel'Koz again. So I'm interested to see if they're going to ban it or if they have another pick that they can play into it, because first picking Cassio did not work out here. And when you're on blue side, what you first pick is pretty much the most important thing of your draft, because, you know, you have the pick of every champion not banned and you went with the Cassio and you got a 4 and 8 performance out of it. So they just need to buck up for this next game, because even with the early game going the way it did, the game was relatively close up to a point before Bodas got all these kills. It was really just the LaMelo show, and they had a chance to come back. And even at the last dragon, Chuck was pushing very well, and they got the dragon. Zeta took away the dragon. They got themselves some kills on the way out, obviously, but they were in a position where that trade is not the worst thing in the world, but then they just lost a little bit too much. So I'm looking for some adjustments for game 2, because I don't think this series is over just yet.
Oh no, not at all. This series is just beginning. The score tells a completely different line than what we actually got to see inside that game. And we were talking about it, the Cassiopeia might not be the answer. However, it could be the answer when Vel'Koz isn't on the table. They might just try to run it back, but you got to think with the sides swapping and whatnot, Cassiopeia could find itself a priority on the other side. So we'll find out if those questions are going to be answered for us. We're going to take ourselves a short break, prepare our mind and body for some even spicier contenders in game 2. So be sure not to touch your browser, as we'll be right back. And welcome back to the UCL. We're over here with the hottest third place matchup on the internet right now. We got Lane Zero taking on UTA Maelstrom. And are you ready, Gus? After game one, are you ready for a
I'm ready.
game two?
I'm ready. I want those boots.
You want those boots?
Yeah, no. Game one could have gone a different way had just a couple things went the way of Maelstrom. So this series is by no means over, and now that they know LaMelo is basically a Vel'Koz god, he may not get to play it anymore. So we'll see what other tricks he's got up his sleeve here, because the way that team comp functioned was fantastic once the Vel'Koz got ahead. Even if Rek'Sai got hooked and died by Blitzcrank, they still won the ensuing fight afterwards. And they did it because their front line could go in and be backed up with long range damage. And the Vel'Koz ultimate combined with the Senna ultimate just did so much damage from so far away. And like we were talking about in the break, a big problem was that Dubious Alistair's Blitzcrank never found a way to threaten LaMelo or even Bodas once he had Edge of Night. And, if you're going to play a champion like Blitzcrank, who's all or nothing, you got to find creative ways to make those things happen. So looking for, if they play Blitzcrank again, I'm looking for them to try to find different angles for pulls and things like that, because they really need to just find a different way to approach it. But I cannot imagine that Vel'Koz will be allowed to be played anymore.
Yeah, who knows? They might have an answer this time around.
Yeah,
So
unless they have some crazy counter pick to it. Maybe less priority put on the Cassio. Maybe Lane Zero decides to pick Cassio this time, or Rise. You never know what's going to be picked as we're getting into the draft.
Well, now we are looking at it. Lane Zero are going to immediately ban out the Nautilus here, which they first banned last time around. Rise being banned out by Maelstrom. So that's like my answer. Well, they haven't locked in the ban yet, but so far it's looking like my answer might still be the same. No, it's going to be Senna.
Yeah, I imagine they'll probably, ban Rise, maybe even ban Cassio if they feel like those Conquer mages are too strong and they don't have anything to deal with them. And, that's just kind of the tragedy of Red Side sometimes there's must-ban things that you have to ban, like at Worlds where Pantheon was 100% pick or ban and he only got played once. Every other time he was banned most of the time by Red Side. It's like Season 3 Kassadin.
Or the holy trinity of Red Side bans in, I believe it was Season 6.
Oh,
we've seen a whole bunch of bans alternate. Here comes the Vel'Koz ban. So there's your answer. Maelstrom doesn't really have a big answer. They want to deal with that. It is going to be still the support focus here. They actually moved the Rakan up to the first phase of bans.
Yep. So no Xayah Rakan going to be played. Maybe Xayah on her lonesome once again, and we'll see if they ban another support here, because once they got rid of it, just going to take out the Cassio and probably force Maelstrom to ban Rise or give it on over. They will ban the Rise, so we'll see what Lane Zero places priority on after that, because, forcing some supports out seemed to force him on a Blitzcrank, and he didn't have the best performance on it, did Dubious Alistair. So we'll see what he decides to go for this time. They did leave Leona up, however, and they're going to first pick the Gragas, so that might retaliate with the Leona pickup.
They might just retaliate with it. They do have the option to lock in the bot lane. They could also pick a jungler up here as well. I do want to point out champions that were banned out by Maelstrom last game there are not banned out this game, are the Mordekaiser and the Gragas. And so far, Gragas has been picked up. We have to see if there will be some priority put onto the Mordekaiser as well inside of this draft as we continue forward.
They also banned Galio late last draft as well, so he will be picked up. Is technically a flex pick, but not too many people like playing him support. The support on my team enjoys playing him support, but he's probably just a mid lane pick.
He's a weird beast, honestly.
We like playing him into engage stuff like Leona or like Blitzcrank or whatever, just so that way if he goes in, you land a taunt and you can do some stuff. But probably more than likely just a mid lane pickup, as well as the Caitlyn. So, could be Caitlyn Galio bottom lane, but probably not.
Yeah, probably not. Ezreal being shown some love here. We'll have to see how that's going to play into factor here. And Could be a interesting matchup as the Darius getting
Oh.
locked in
Saying,
blind.
go ahead, pick Mordekaiser. Let's play that 50-50 matchup. Actually, I think it's slightly Mordekaiser favored, isn't it? I'm not a top laner, so I'm not sure.
It should be Darius favored early because of the way your passive works. If you actually like go in there and actually fully stack your passive very quickly with Conquer, it actually works out really well in favor of Darius in that situation. You just can't let Mordekaiser just poke you down. You have to go onto him. You have to puff out your chest and run at him menacingly.
And speaking of running at you menacingly, we got Olaf locked in once again. And honestly, Zeta didn't have that bad of a performance. It was actually pretty okay early on. It's just once the game started crumbling around him, there's only so much that Olaf as a champion can do, because he just kind of has to run in. And when you run into people that are really fed and you're not full tank like Maokai, you die. So looking for Zeta to continue what he did, and hopefully things work out better for him if you are a Maelstrom fan. And Yasuo being banned away from the side, or from Maelstrom towards the side of lane 0. So Aatrox will be taken away as well. So does not want to play against the Swordman anymore.
No. Lane 0, we're the team that played Aatrox, but they're saying, nope, this top laner over here, over on Maelstrom, Chuck, he can be a very scary guy when he gets his hands on something he's comfortable with. So the Aatrox and the Orianna taken away. So taking away some team fight presence there.
Maybe they think it might be Galio topper support. So
being safe.
Like I said, Galio is technically a flex pick, just not super popular as a support.
Yeah, just not as popular as you would think. Kale going to be locked on in, so that is going to be a champion that could go to the mid or top lane as she pleases in that regard. And
I do like the Olaf Kale combo. Because he's invulnerable to CC and invulnerable to damage. It's basically what Olaf dreams of right there. So, Olaf Tarek, Olaf Kale, fantastic combination. Olaf Lulu is another one that's pretty good as well. And, Olaf Karma, Olaf Sivir, speed him up, make things happen. But we've got Irelia locked in here for lane 0, so likely just to be Irelia mid. And they're looking at the Alistar once again.
So they got themselves some very, very aggressive lanes here to pair together with this Gragas, who has really great ganks. Much more so that you have to watch out for when we're talking about this Gragas and the Olaf matchup. There is a little bit of a difference there when it comes down to the snowballing potential, because Gragas very keen on giving his teammates an advantage with how great his early gank presence is. It's going to be very interesting to see how Maelstrom reacts here.
Yep. I'm interested to see what their final pick is going to be. If it's going to be a support and the Galio is going mid, if Galio's the support and Kale goes mid and they pick a top laner here, and they're just going to pick another mage and keep us guessing. But it's probably just Galio support. I don't think Kale or Victor support sounds very good. Probably likely just Victor mid, Kale top. It could be reversed though. It could be Victor top, Kale mid. We'll have to see.
Yeah, we saw Victor top work out for a very long time because of the fact that he could kite out some of these bruisers and whatnot. And guess what? You got 2 of them in 2 different lanes. So you got your pick of the litter. Which matchup is better for Kale becomes the question, I feel like, there. Is Victor probably looking at both of them saying, yeah, I can lane versus either one of them. I do have to ask you a question here, though, because you and me have had discussions in the past, off air and on air, about Galio's support and how it works. You and me just had a little talk about it. How do you feel about this inside of this comp? Because I don't feel like there's many ways for Galio to really jump into the midst of the fight with his heroic entrance beside the Olaf.
Yeah, and that might be what they're going for, is just to pile everything on Olaf comp. And maybe that's why they banned Orianna, is because they saw that coming. They saw, okay, that could be Galio support with the Olaf. They're probably going to try and draft something to accentuate the Olaf. So let's just ban Orianna so we don't get 5-man shockwave by the unstoppable Olaf. But as far as in lane, Galio basically stops Alistar from literally doing anything in lane. Like, if he goes in and combos, all Galio has to do is channel his taunt, get that damage reduction when the Ezreal tries to follow up, and taunt them, and Caitlyn can place traps under them while they're taunted. So it just kind of nullifies Alistar in lane, and that's kind of like why our team likes to play the Galio into these engaged champions, because once you're in, most of those engaged champions don't have a way back out unless it's like Pike. you know, and they don't use their E or something. So
Mhm.
getting that taunt once they commit to the engage allows you to kind of reset the fight in a different way than something like a Janna would.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. That makes it to a very interesting scenario. So we may see a. I think that's fine if you look at Lane Zero the way they played last game, though, because they did not play a very aggressive style in the last game. They kind of just said, "All right, we're finding our moment in the mid game," and found it very quickly and very swiftly. And Ezreal, that we saw Alistair roam a lot in the last game. So
Yeah,
Ezreal,
and that
very
might come
self-sufficient.
back true this game. Like you said, Ezreal self-sufficient, probably the best ADC to leave in a 1v2 lane. Just let him chill and farm up, poke with his Q, whatever, get his tier going, and let Alistair come roam up to try and help your Irelia snowball. And that's probably what they're going to have to do, and that's probably what Maelstrom's on the lookout for.
And Maelstrom does need to be careful about it too, because we saw in the last game it was very even for a certain point, and then one little snowball turned a lot of things around. Now we got to look at the differences in these compositions here. Maelstrom, I feel like, has a lot of scaling actually in their pocket. Lane Zero has we're running at you comp, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. They do have some scaling of their own. You know, Gragas gets that crazy damage reduction later on and will probably build the AP, so he will do damage later. He will just pop. He's a class cannon. Ezreal still scales pretty well even without the double tier or the AP build being super popular. He still can scale pretty well. Irelia gets really strong later on, and if Darius isn't behind, he will still be a threat in the side lane. However, the scaling on the side of Maelstrom will definitely outscale Lane Zero if they get to that point. You know, the 6-item Caitlyn, the 4-item Kayle, the 4-item Victor, very, very strong in their own right, brings a ton of wave clear and a ton of team fight, not only presence in terms of the just damage, but a lot of utility with the Kayle, the Olaf, Victor's Field, the Galio. There's just a lot of things for the side of Lane Zero that if they fall behind, we'll have to try and play around, and it could get real tricky.
Very much so. It could be a very disgusting situation. I'm gonna blow your mind right quick, man. What if it's an Ezreal and Irelia lane swap? Boom.
Hey, I've been watching LS's team scrim, and last night they had an Echo in the bottom lane with an Ezreal mid against a Senna mid, and those teams are scrimming some weird things, man. So
I'm just gonna tell you, man. I won Clash playing with Ezreal mid. Like, I'm just saying.
But was it Ezreal versus Senna mid?
No.
With an Echo in the bottom lane.
No, it was not that. It was not that.
It was Echo and Syndra as the bot lane carries with supports, and then Senna and Ezreal mid lane. At that point, you just have your 80 carry players go mid and have your mid players play the mages in the bottom lane.
It's a crazy time in League of Legends, man. If you were to tell me that we would have swaps like that going on left and right, yeah, I would call you crazy a year ago. But for now, you know what I won't call you crazy for?
What's that?
I won't call you crazy if you go to Midwest Esports, baby. Midwest Esports has been around for many years, starting as a small student group out of Wichita. That's Wichita State University, also the state. Since then, Midwest Esports has grown to be a veteran organizer into tournaments and events throughout the U.S. They have tournaments for a lot of different games. You got League of Legends, Rocket League, Overwatch, all your basically esports competitive games that are out there. Midwest has dabbled with and had their hands on. If you guys want more information on them, make sure you go ahead and check them out. They are at MidwestEsports.com. That's spelled MIDWEST esports. You should know how to spell that if you're here. Come on, guys. You've seen enough orgs that have esports in the name. And that's .com. Thank you, Midwest, for sponsoring Upsurge. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and take ourselves a moment to breathe, collect ourselves, and get ready for Game 2 here in UCL. Be sure not to go anywhere. gentlemen, welcome on back to some fresh and tender contendies here, as we are getting into the action already. And Gus, you got game 2 coming on up, and game 1 was very spicy.
It definitely was. However, this game has the potential to be less spicy due to the team comp that Maelstrom has drafted for themselves. They definitely want to scale up a little bit, at least to the 4-item mark for the Victor and the Kale. And, you know, Caitlyn is definitely the mid-game power trough is still real, but, you know, she'll do okay in the 3-4 item mark as well. So they're waiting for that. Whereas on the side of lane 0, they're looking to go hard early and often.
Oh, if Clitomancy was still a thing, that would have been a sack of gold right there. But I was going to ask you real quick. My client actually messed up a little bit when we got into it. Can you tell me what time you're at?
I am at 106, 107, 108.
All right, we're good. We're good. I fast-forwarded right on time. I'm picture perfect. I am so clean mechanically at this whole spectating video games thing.
Yeah, Ryan needs to fix their spectator client, because behind the scenes we do a lot of weird stuff to make sure we're all synced up the best we can, and even then, sometimes it does weird stuff.
Yeah.
So forever desynced, that's why. It's Ryan's fault.
Spaghetti spectate, man. And this is an interesting bit of cheese coming out here from the bot lane, actually. The Galio Kalen sitting in this bush.
Yeah.
A very traumatizing time for this bot lane if they're not careful. Ezreal does not take his shift very early on. Chuck is getting jumped onto. Now in the bot lane, there's going to be a lot of damage. Look at the damage.
Oh, he got him.
He's gone. Revenant just pops both summoners and says, your life is mine.
Wow, and that's the power of Darius. And LaMelo's really low here. He might be in trouble here. He's got to back up and wait for his pot to charge on up, because Cure's looking out like he's out for blood.
Yeah, and here we go. Look, Cure is looking for something else, but over here in the top lane is going to be an Olaf that's coming around. He's going for the flank onto Revenant.
Oh, the TP!
He really can do here. TP coming on through. They're not wanting to let this just go down in vain. Melo is jumping all around. Take one's in the vicinity, and they get that kill. Chut T is getting dropped down so very low. They do not want to dive this and give over any early advantage to Chuck T. That is a huge turnaround to come out. And wow, what a crazy CP so early on.
Yeah, everything I said about this game not being spicy just got completely debunked there. Zeta doing the thing you do against Darius, gank him. That's always been the counter to Darius, is ganking him. You know, he used both of his summoners to pull off the first blood, the Ghost and the Flash, so he knew there was no way out for him, so they picked that one up. You know, giving gold to Kale when the assist is fine. It would have been better if she got the kill, but Olaf getting going early is fine. But then everyone shows up top lane. I thought this was the bot lane party meta.
No. You tuned in for the wrong night for that one, buddy. This is going to be a top lane centric game, it seems like already, just based off the amount of resources used. And check this out. Look at where Olaf is right now. This could be a very spicy situation with the Gragas and whatnot, going to that mid lane area into the jungle.
Yeah, Olaf will win the fight if Gragas decides to try and body slam him instead of try to body slam away. Olaf should, in theory, win it. However, Irelia can roam on down. Looks like he's just going to go for the Raptor contendies of his own.
Yeah, he's looking for it. That is going to be a stun to come on out. Predator has been popped as well. Zeta's going to find himself going on down. Take one to be able to pick up that kill. Now it's going to be Cure, but over on the side of Flash, Justice, punch! Cure going to be able to get that kill, and now it is Take One having to retreat. But is he going to retreat for very long? Cure, you may not want to underestimate this man's damage. As he brings a heaping amount of it. Dark Lord will take your soul and finish you off as Sam rejoins the fight. Is another challenger indeed in the mid lane, as this game is starting to shift from a top lane center mat to an ARAM.
Yep, it wouldn't be NA without the NA RAM, and it was starting up there. I think it's going to calm down just a little. Caitlyn going to pick up this wave since she's mid, might as well. That's what AD carries love to do, is just farm wherever they're at. Looks like she'll just go right back on down towards bottom lane after a nice little back. She will have enough, oh, not quite enough gold for it, so she's not going to go. But Victor teleports down to the bottom lane to pick up that wave too, so I don't think they're actually lane swapping. I think Kier's just sad that he missed out on that wave of CS from dying, and he's going to go pick this wave up.
Yeah, he's just wanting the, you see the Caitlyn augment 3-man bot lane, new strategy. You just stay there. You don't ever leave into the river. You just never do that. Take one is here in the top lane bush. Could be a very scary situation for Chuck if he gets a little bit too close.
Yeah, I don't foresee him ever going close. He's not even level 6 yet. He's still a melee champion.
Look at the Alistar! Look at the Alistar!
Wow, they're going to send the 4-man party up here for this Gale!
Welcome to the party! Revenant gets that kill. Zeta is off to the side.
And now Caitlyn's in the top lane!
Caitlyn teleported to the top lane now. What is this game? Galio is going to be left alone to farm in the bot lane. Doesn't have anybody to go to. Zem is in a dangerous situation. Could be looking at getting killed here. It is looking like Dark Lord Matthew. He's just going to play spoiler. Zeta, you're not going to be allowed to join this party. You're going to be able to get the stun onto him. That's going to be a cast. And boy, oh boy, Zeta, your HP is gone.
Yeah, definitely a bit greedy of Sem and Zeta to be up that far when they knew 4 members are still around.
Oh,
so, and even Cure is on the run now as they come back towards mid lane.
How do you stop Dark Lord from roaming all over the map? Hell, there is a support in my lane, is saying this top laner.
You do it by shoving in the wave bottom and taking the tower plates. Instead, Caitlyn's trying to teleport to lanes and roam up to try and do things. Instead, you just need to try and shove the Ezreal under his tower, force him to try to last hit and take the tower plates because you're Caitlyn. If you're not doing that with Caitlyn, honestly, you're just kind of playing the pick wrong.
Yeah, you need to be really lane dominant, and you're seeing here, Ezreal, because of all this time alone with the wave that Galio shoved in, he just got a ton of CS back to himself and was just like, all right, sweet, I'm up in gold now.
And he's got the wave kind of frozen right now, too.
This is the worst case scenario for this bot lane if you're looking at Maelstrom.
Yeah, here comes LaMelo.
LaMelo's looking for
he got the red buff!
He got the red buff. Zeta's going to find himself in a bad spot. He doesn't have any red.
No,
he has no hope.
Dead.
He is going to go on down. That is going to be a solo kill. And it's got to feel bad when you're the jungle getting invaded by
They're picking top. They're coming back top.
They're coming. Here comes the Alistar chain. Look at her. He is coming on up
there. Oh, no, Chuck.
Chuck T will get deleted by Revenant's hands themselves. LaMelo is now in the mid lane, being the focus of the session here as Curious looking to see what he'll be able to do. He's the only person that they're looking to jump onto here as Alistar jumps in for the headbutt. Pulverize, lots of damage coming on now. The tower does enough damage. Dark Lord Matthew has an ignite burning away. Curious going to be able to pick up that kill. Now it is a straight up 2v2. The dubious Alistar is doing his best. Body flash. There is going to be a huge 2-man taunt. The damage is done. They're going to be able to go 1-for-1 inside of that. LaMelo trades a kill, but the Gragas goes on down. But that is Maelstrom picking up 2 kills onto Cure.
Unfortunately there, Cure was otherwise he could have thrown down his ultimate and probably contributed a ton more to that fight. And you know, it was a really decent time for lane 0 to try to pick a fight there, but they still ended up going rather even in that mid lane skirmish at least, so definitely interesting there. But this game is going hard and fast, and they already have themselves a 2,000 gold lead at only 8.5 minutes.
It's insane to already think about that, man. This is a game that has been non-stop. We are sitting at a total amount of 13 kills have happened inside this game, and we're almost at the 9-minute mark. That's already just telling a story. And right now, this Kale pick isn't paying off. We're seeing Revenant very confident about how he plays this Darius.
Yeah, I mean, picking Kale into Darius, you have to be very confident to do that, because this is what happens if it goes wrong. Darius will just solo kill you, the jungler can come up and dive you, and Darius builds Trinity Force and becomes really much scary, the unstoppable side lane monster that he can be, and he's well on track to becoming that at this point. And like I said with Kale, it's going to take her probably 3 or 4 items before she becomes relevant enough to deal with him at this point. And, you know, she's going to go for the Gunblade first, it looks like, to try and live. But here's Dark Lord Matthew still not in bottom lane.
Yeah, he's never...
I don't think he's been back. I don't think he's been back since he left the first time.
He bought Moby Boots, and he was like, my people need me.
Who needs wards when you're just killing everyone, right?
Who needs
if they're dead, you know where they're at. They're either respawning in the fountain or they're just off the map. So you don't need vision if they're dead.
I just love the fact that Dubious Alistar is like, dude, what the hell? What are you doing, man? He's having to roam to keep up with the Alistar. He's getting left behind. Now they're dual laning in the mid lane. Now Alistar's like, now follow me. I'm going back to the bot lane, you see? Haha.
One downside to this is that he's just hit level 5, like just now, compared to Dubious Alistair is level 6 on the Galio. So he doesn't have his Unbreakable Will just yet, but honestly, Alistair is a perfectly capable champion just at level 3.
I mean, it's just crazy. These supports are just staying in the mid lane right now, and Shelly gets called up to the top.
Oh no, Zeta!
Coming on out, Zeta. You cannot.
Oh, good kill!
Damage, but you can find yourself invulnerable to it. Explosive cast comes on out. That is going to be a flash. Just the
There's no damage though.
He has laying it on out, and now Chuck, his top lane does not have any damage inside of their kit right now. They have to count on them being a little bit.
Dark Lord!
Dark Lord Matthew! He's going to be able to get a huge two-man knockup. Dark Lord Matthew.
Oh my goodness!
It doesn't matter when Revenant cleaves through your HP bars. You just listen. The Chaos Storm gets dropped, but it's just a little bit too much, a little bit too late.
Yeah, and Cure even teleported up, and everything is coming up lane 0. That gold lead 3 minutes ago was 2K. It's almost 4,000 now. Now this is the point where it actually becomes a tangible item advantage. Before, when it's 2,000, that's like, okay, it's like a longsword advantage. But now at this point, you're starting to get into where, you know, it's getting closer to a pickaxe advantage, and that 25 AD or that whatever gold worth of whatever stat it is you have can start to make a difference at this point, especially when you have the scaling comp and you're down by this much.
And this is when you're scaling, right? You gotta really feel like, how do I keep scaling and stop bleeding out right now? Dark Lord Matthew taking a little bit of poke here, but Dubious Alistair going to be the target as Lamelo is jumping onto him. Lots of damage being put onto him. This could be a master bait there. The Vanguard's Edge is going to be able to come on out. Peacemaker goes onto the Aurelia, but not going to be enough damage. Ragnarok is used, but Zeta, you are such a slow boy right now. You got level 1 boots. You ain't running at anybody menacing like that.
Yeah, I thought I saw a teleport or something. I don't know. Oh, Lamelo teleported out. Okay. I was like, wait a minute. You can't cancel teleport willingly anymore. Who did that?
Who put this spaghetti in my code?
But yeah, Lamelo used his teleport to get back to base after he was that low after flashing over the wall. He made it out safe and sound. And this game is just crazy. Lane 0 doing everything they can to push this advantage, and it's working thus far. And even when Irelia rushes his wits end, she still does a ton of damage at this point in the game.
Yeah, right now Lane 0 is playing this so well, like you were talking about, and you gotta think, man, they are playing out of their minds here. They're playing really strong lanes, and this is the team that did take one of the finalists to the brink here. Now Zeta's getting caught on out, and the Ragnarok is not up just yet. Chaos Storm is going to be able to come on out. They get the gravity field. Lamelo is going to turn this around and jump back onto Cure. They're trying to get him explosive cast. Dark Lord Matthew picks up another kill for himself. He might be roaming around, but this is a count at 3, 2, and 7.
Yeah, and if Cure didn't die there, it looked like that cast was a picture perfect one that would have sent him completely backwards into the waiting arms. And now Chuck's in danger.
Yeah, Chuck's in danger. He is going to go invulnerable, but you can only go invulnerable for a couple seconds there. Lamela is unstoppable, and he doesn't care about your feelings in regards to that.
Yep, it was definitely a fact that he was dead there, and facts don't care about feelings. So it's there true. You go.
It's true. That's just science. Really, truly. I gotta say, real quick, Chuck has had such a hard time in this lane. Look at the CS differential and the gold differential for him, man. He is in such a bad... Wait, no, stop bullying Zeta. This is just bullying at this point. Using Ragnarok, trying to get out of there. Take one is just waiting for the Ragnarok to end. Oh, Dark Lord, he just tried to use it to...
There's 4 people here!
There's the true shot barrage. Damage coming on out. A heroic entrance makes a heroic retreat.
That killed him!
Bodas just picks him off on the very edge of the Mystic shot and gets that kill.
And I don't know how this could get any worse for Maelstrom at this point. I think this is one of those games where they just drafted too much scaling. And even, I think they probably could have done stuff differently in the early game. Mainly leave the Caitlyn down in the bottom lane. Because look, it's a 50 CS differential there too, and Caitlyn hasn't even died. she's just been pulled in so many directions trying to save teammates that Ezreal got 50 CS. They did not get a tower plate in the bottom. That is what you pick Caitlyn for. We've seen teams pick Caitlyn with Zig support to get these plates, and they just completely ignored them.
Oh man, now the Inferno, it blazes. I just realized this game is only 15 minutes in.
Yeah, and I completely forgot what the first Drake that was taken was, so... Or this one, if I'm honest with you. I think this one was an Ocean.
I can't blame you. I really can't, because we are 15 minutes in and there is 23 kills in total inside of this game.
Yeah, and normally you see Gragas's take the cooldown boots with the Predator, but take one just says, I just want to do more damage, and went with the Sword Shoes. So he's looking to deal the big time damage here.
I mean, honestly, here is going to be able to go ahead and get this crunched on down. That is all of the outer towers.
We're nearly at 10,000 gold lead.
This is insane lead coming out here, and Zeta over the wall throwing a couple hooks there. He's got plenty of Doran's blades, though. You got to give the man credit. He is definitely prepared. He's got 3 blades for 3 people.
Definitely ready to stab some people with his little daggers there, but Maelstrom was on the other side of a 10k gold lead and lost a game with it. So it's up to them now to figure out how to do what happened to them in their last series. And they have a comp that can accomplish it. They just need to turtle and find a way to stem the bleeding, because with their team comp, they could probably win 5v5 team fights even if they were down 4,000 gold or so.
Yeah, they just need items, right? Like, they need items, they need levels, and the thing is, you got to recognize how Lane Zero has been playing this and figure out a way to kind of neutralize it, because they have had such an effective way of making sure that this KO isn't able to get up in levels.
Yeah, she's only level 9 compared to Darius, she's 11.
Bodas is getting jumped out too. He's caught out. That does not catch him. He's going to be able to get him there. That's going to be a shutdown. That's going to be able to go.
Take one's low too.
Take is very low. Heroic entrance coming on in. Zeta is dropped down so very low. The gravity field using the top lane to make sure that they're going to be able to stop the Darius from moving more. Dark Lord Matthew with the swagger getting up out of there, but in that is 2 kills.
Oh no! Remnon!
No, yeah, you're not getting out of that. It's Dunk City, baby. Remnon says, come on over here.
The Randuins!
There's another one. Double kill coming on out. Vanguard's Edge not going to be able to catch it onto Sem. Cure is there to keep Sem alive. And they are going to be able to recuperate themselves. They got something that looked so good for them. And then they found out there was a Jarius there.
Yeah, and this is something that even pro teams do. They get a couple kills like that and they start feeling it and they want to chase for more. And they end up falling victim to their own hubris. And, you know, if pro teams do it, amateur teams will do it as well. And you just gotta understand your limits, especially when you're down. Because I don't think they know that they're down 10,000 gold, but they know that they're down by a lot and that they need to just chill and find a way in. Getting a couple shutdowns is good. Unfortunately, Olaf got the one onto Bodas. Wasn't the biggest one. The big one right now is on Revnon. He's got that 700 bounty, and LaMelo just dinged a 700 gold bounty as well. So those two are the main sources that you want to give Chuck T and Cure the shutdown gold on, because we're past the point where Caitlyn's going to be useful anytime before 6 items at this point. She's just going to need to chill and do her thing. But there's still hope for Kale and Victor to become relevant. Gunblade is completed. Even when you're 0-5 on Kale, you still can become quite the threat later on. And we all know Victor. He just does a million damage and has a million ways to wave clear and stun you up and kill you. So Victor always relevant.
Yeah, always relevant, always scaling, always doing the damage that his team may need. This could be a very interesting scenario. Look at the Alistar here. Dark Lord Matthew, he thinks a couple cupcakes is going to stop this mad cow. He is the Dark Lord, after all. And
Zeta.
Going to find out, Zeta, what are you doing inside the jungle at this point in time? You're just going to find yourself getting another notch in the hats of Redmond here. He is just... I don't know why Zeta was there, but he definitely got punished for it.
Definitely. I mean, you can make the Brother Sven meme there, if you really wanted to.
Brother Zeta at this point.
Yeah, Brother Zeta coming out there on the complete other side of the map from his team. You know, he's just trying to find some gold somewhere, man. But honestly, that's not where you're going to find it.
Yeah. Yeah, we're getting to the problem. Dark Lord Matthew, he jumps into the backside. Explosive cast going, hits someone, true shot, barrage hits nobody. Heroic interest to get canceled. It's going to be dubious Alice.
Oh,
they
can win this.
He's got a lot of damage that's coming on now. That's a shutdown that's going to be going in. The Vanguard's edge is on the backside. That's a double kill that goes over on the O to Chuck T. It is both assets laying out the pain. Revenant's trying to get into it, but he is just getting kited, and it is not going to be anything extra as Chuck T's able to get out with his life, and Revenant Ghost has been popped. He is not going to be able to get anything else off of that.
Yeah, but unfortunately for Maelstrom, it was neither the Aurelia nor the Darius who died, so no big shutdown coming down for Chuck T. But he did find himself a couple of kills, and that accelerated him a little bit. He's got Berserker Greaves and a couple of daggers now towards his Ginsu's Rageblade, or perhaps Nasher's Tooth if that's the way he wants to go. But they're trying to catch out LaMelo here.
Yeah, this is going to be very difficult, though, because even though he does not have the Vanguard's edge, he still has some outplay potential stunts, so he's going to connect onto one because of the Galio there.
Oh, you need to give that to Sam!
That is going to be a shutdown that's going on over. Sam does not get that. Blue team does grab it, so Lane Zero does grab another Drake in their pocket, but like you said, Sam still killless inside this game, and shutdowns going left and right to this Olaf.
Yeah, that would have been a big 1,000 gold to give over to Sam. You know, it will help out Olaf, but at this point you need to just invest everything you can into your late game carries. Give them whatever they can. And that was a kill that I think you probably could have handed over without the fear of LaMelo getting away. So, little things here that you definitely need to keep track of in the grand scheme of things, like Cure being up so far right here.
Yeah, and Cure is up very, very far, and his HP bar is so very low. That's the dunk. Revenant is
not even
legendary.
A full stack dunk either. That was a 3 or 4 stack dunk, and that still deletes him from half health.
He don't need all them stacks, baby. He's looking to just take lives whenever he possibly can, and them having this Titanic Hydra is so much damage. Each one of these auto attacks have a presence to them.
And it's an extra auto reset. The W is already an auto reset, but you reset and then reset, and that's 3 stacks because you auto reset. That's 3 out of the 5 that you need. Smack them again, and then Q them on the way out, and then hit them with the dunk, and they're donezo.
Yeah, by the time the enemy's done, they're saying, "Oh man, it's a reset," as they are just not enjoying it, man. You get close to this Darius, the only option you have is to kite him, like we saw before in that last fight when he came in the backside. You see where he's at. You got to find a way to keep him.
But he has Randuins. He's just gonna slow them.
It's true. You stay out of range of Randuins, man. I don't know.
He's got Ghost. We're lucky he doesn't have Phase Rush.
This one speedy guy here. Oh, right. Zeta's going to find himself getting jumped onto. That is a Ragnarok. They are going to jump onto him. They are going to find himself getting all the stats on the dubious Alice.
He's going to die to the bleed, I think.
The bleed takes its toll, and Revenant is legendary. Doesn't even need the dunk. Now the Vanguard Edge coming out on the Chuck T.
Oh, the cast
gives the slow. The cast comes in, and LaMelo picks that kill. 2-man body slam coming on in. The headbutt pulverize. Revenant is legendary, and that is just a pit. Pieces just being picked up left and right here. Another dunk for you, baby.
Oh, LaMelo almost went down.
It's got a double kill. That's the ace. And Lane Zero, we're going to be looking to pick up the win here, I believe.
Yeah, and it's just this draft, all this scaling, just Olaf alone wasn't enough to withstand the early game onslaught of this team comp. And they paid dearly for it, and now
the kill. Yeah,
they only have one more chance to try and win this 3rd place match here. They need to definitely draft something with a little more early game agency.
I agree. Like the scaling idea, like, all right, so they have had ideas here. They've had like the mid-game power spites, get some of the OP picks, right? Then they went for something that has some lane dominance towards the bottom half of the map, and then they had something that had the scaling options, right? And it feels like they've gone to another option. They have to kind of brainstorm and find the best of both worlds. Look back to what they did in game 1, I feel like, and make something happen.
So, I have a question. When was the last time you've seen a Darius lead a game in damage dealt?
Every time I play
him. No, Pete still outdamaged you then.
All right, listen, man.
But it happened this game. He did over 15,000 damage in a 24-minute game. The next highest was the Aurelia, who only did under 13,000. So a monstrous game from Revenant on this Darius. Like, for a Darius to do that much damage to champions, because the kind of default play when a Darius gets fed is to leave him alone. Let him do what he wants and just try and do stuff on the other side of the map. The fact that he's able to find these fights and come in and deal that much damage is crazy.
I also think we got to talk about the fact that in terms of matchup, right? Chuck, I feel like he didn't respect that where the Darius was going to be at in the early game. We saw that early cheese. If we had replay tech, I would throw it back to the very beginning of the game, first blood kill. When there's a Darius on the other side, you don't go through any of your bushes. Like you go the long way because he's
you play like you play against Singed. You accompany your wave to the lane because you don't even have to caught out.
Just don't go into a bush, because if you walk into a bush, that is the easiest. Just auto W auto, and then you just got 3 stacks of bleed put onto you. You lose that trade no matter what.
Yeah, like half your health is gone at that point, no matter what champion you are.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it felt like a little bit of disrespect came out there too. There was a little bit of a lack of awareness in the early game, and we got to keep our mind on that as we go into this next game, I feel like, as well.
Yeah, I mean, Zeta ended up having the most gold on the team that game with 8,300 gold on the dot, but the 3-10-3. And, you know, he did pick up a couple of big kills, especially that big shutdown on LaMelo, but, you know, it's kind of like when you play Lee Sin and you get all the kills and you're like 6-0, but the rest of your team is poor and in poverty, and you can't really, none of the rest of your team can do anything, and then you're just the Lee Sin. So what are you going to do? And the same thing kind of happened here, where had Cure had a couple extra kills with some shutdowns, or had Sem gotten an extra couple kills and some shutdowns, it was probably already over at that point, but at least you're doing the things that you need to do. Like, once you get that far behind, there's a big old checklist of stuff you got to do. And donating shutdowns is like near the top, if not the top thing on that list.
And I'm going to ask you one more question before we throw this on over to break, then, is we talked about all the kills. We've talked about damage. I want to talk about the pure utility of this Alistar. How do you put this cow back in its pen?
By banning him. Like, there's almost no other champion that can do what Alistar does. Just go roam to a lane and set everything up. It's why he's played even when his stats, even when he does no damage. He's kind of like Thresh, where even if he did no damage whatsoever, he would still probably be played just due to what he's able to do. And not to mention, it's Season 4 Worlds when he was busting, you'd press W and one-shot someone with the free auto that you get off of it.
Hey, man, I still miss Season 2 Alistar, man. Bring back Jungle Alistar, baby. But with that being said, we're going to go back to the jungle of Upsurge here. We're going to talk about what we are going to be looking at for Game 3. Let us know in Twitch chat, what do you guys think needs to be the answer here, so we can get this into a full-blown series here. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be right back with a short break, and we'll be back for Game 3. Don't go anywhere. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on back to UCL. We are getting right into the thick of it. We're going into game 3. We got some roster changes. Gus, why don't you run me through those real quick?
So Chuck T will be playing mid lane now. Cure will be playing support, and then they brought in Neo Restoration for top lane and Fred for AD carry or bottom lane, whatever you want to call it. And this is the roster that they ran in their semifinal match against Purdue. So I don't know what the reason for the changes earlier were, which roster is supposed to be their main roster or what, but they have a different look, and they should hopefully have a different strategy here facing elimination.
Oh, we're seeing the bands coming on out here. They went through lightning fast as we go through Vel'Koz, Mordecai the Gragas, and Kled, Rise, and Cassiopeia. Now it is going to be UTA. What do you want to put your priority on here?
It's interesting because there still are some picks like the Senna, which they will lock in here, but it shows that lane 0 doesn't really have an answer other than Vel'Koz for something like the Rise and Cassiopeia, because they were, once Vel'Koz was banned, they said, nope, we do not want to deal with Cassiopeia.
Yeah, they do not want to take that away. They actually made sure that they banned the Mordekaiser again here, even though it didn't get played in the last game. They have that haunting image in the back of their head. But it looks like they're going to have some domestic violence down here in the bot lane.
Oh, man.
Lucian is out here.
I mean, Lucian can still be played mid and top. You know, that's a thing that could happen. But Elise being picked up, another gank-heavy jungler, really strong in the early game, also deals magic damage like the Gragas. Just a little more appealing to most people's eyes.
Yeah.
At least half the time. Some people are deathly afraid of spiders.
You know what? Fun fact about Elise, in spider form, the adamant, like the spider butt part of it, has jiggle physics, and that bothers me.
I never noticed that.
Just look next time, okay? This guy just, I'm asking our streamer to zoom in on the jiggle physics for the viewers.
Oh, baby.
But Caitlyn is going to be locked in for UTA. So this does make you go ahead and say this is either a Sena support or Sena solo lane. Have to see exactly what the final answer is going to be. There's always that if, and, or maybe, or but that could possibly come out here as the Graves gets locked in here.
Yeah, speaking of butts, you know, got a good one in the pool party skin. Not bad at all. And you know, Graves has been buffed like a lot.
Yes.
I remember the meme about them taking away the AD. Well, they put back more of it and people still weren't playing him. Then they buffed him more. So I'm waiting for people to catch on that Graves is actually pretty strong, like stat-wise. He may not be all that great in the meta, I guess, but like
he's really
been
good.
Buffed back to what he was before that last round of nerfs that took him out of meta. And we have everybody's favorite poke champion in the mid lane, Xerath.
Yep, he is looking to be the person to add an extra layer of poke into this
I guess it could be Xerath's support. That might be one answer to Senna, is just to play Xerath and poke her back.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like a good idea, right? I mean, you have a Sena Caitlyn, right? These are actually two champions that are actually very easy to hit your skill shots onto, and it could be a very scary time if you're on the side of UTA facing off against that in the bot lane.
Yeah, it could also bait a mid lane pick that could be countered by something else, since they do have the red side here. So we'll see what they end up doing here, because they're probably going to lock in a top laner right now, just to keep that Xerath flex a possibility on the table here. But what will they blind in the top lane? They may just pick... I don't even know, honestly, what else they're looking for. But there is a pick that could be keeping the flex alive in either mid or top, is the Akali.
Very strong right now, champion at this point in time. I've been terrified of it every time I see it on the other side.
Yeah, and you know, she's been nerfed countless times and still has relevance just due to the way her kit functions. And I think maybe making her first ult targeted is probably the way that they're going to end up having to nerf her, because she's still really safe for an assassin. But that's neither here nor there. We're not on the balance team, but what we got is the Ornn in the top lane, the Spicy Boy, one of the better blind pickable tanks that you can pick here, because, you know, they could pick something like Fiora into it and really have a good time against it, but Ornn has ways to survive in bad matchups, and his ult just brings so much utility that's why he's played so much, is because of his ult is just that strong.
And I do like this LeBlanc pick too. This is like them saying, hey, take this Akali, throw it top lane, or else you're going to get popped inside of this lane. So I like the fact that they're putting pressure on the Akali pick instantaneously and saying, are you taking the Xerath mid? Because LeBlanc's good into that too. It's an A trap.
It is Xerath support. All right, so this may be what people are saying is good into Senna support, at least in lane, because, later on, Xerath has, I guess their kits are somewhat similar. They have either global or semi-global ult, straight shot Q, a W that does stuff, and CC other ways. So we'll see how this works out, because this lane can do a lot early on. If Xerath pokes them down low enough, Lucian can dash on in, dash past the Senna route, and make sure he doesn't step on a trap, and have access to Caitlyn and the Senna and do a lot of damage to them. And then LeBlanc into Akali is one of those matchups where it is a matchup that Akali can get beaten in relatively easily, because if you get a chain landed on and you get put in the shroud, you can still guess where the Akali is close enough to land a distortion on her.
Mm-hmm. I feel like this is going to be a very interesting scenario to keep an eye on. Technically, the Aatrox and Akali can kind of flip-flop if they want to, but it's like you were talking about. I think that's the makeup.
Aatrox mid into LeBlanc sounds terrible.
It does sound terrible. It just depends on who do you want to go against the Ornn, because Ornn,
I don't think it's worried about being killed by the Ornn.
No, you're not getting killed by Ornn. I'm saying who wants to get the free lane versus Ornn. You get to really just gotta
I think you give it to Aatrox.
Yeah.
Because Akali can still survive the lane against LeBlanc as long as you play it correctly. It's just LeBlanc has a lot of ways to do stuff to Akali, even through her shroud and her safety. Mainly because of the way the game works, tethers are very finicky with when they're actually detached from you. Things like Karma W and LeBlanc chain, Morgana ult, all those are really good at hitting you even after you have gone out, just due to the latency between you and the server. Especially on NA, where if you're on the West Coast, you have 60, 70 ping, and things look really weird. But, in Texas, where Maelstrom's at, they probably have around the 35 ping, and I'm not sure where the lane 0 guys are. Otherwise, they might have high ping, they might have low ping. But it's just the way that tethers seem to work can be very finicky at times. So even if Akali uses her E to escape, she still might end up getting rooted by the LeBlanc chain, and it will allow for some follow-up, especially post-6 when LeBlanc has access to 2 distortions instead of 1.
Mm-hmm. Now, that is a good point to take note of, is the mobility too. When we looked at this last game, I want to bring something up real quick. So lane 0 has played Alistar the past 2 games. Xerath is a different beast.
Yeah, he's not gonna go roaming around the whole time.
I wanted to bring that up. We saw a lot of roaming around from lane 0. I feel like this composition, at least in the bot lane, we won't see as much movement out of lane.
Yeah, definitely. I'm interested to see this matchup between the supports, because people have been complaining a lot about Senna. And I think half of it is that they're just not trying to experiment with things that can beat it. Mm-hmm. They're just trying to play the same stuff. And Senna just is good into the meta that we had in Worlds as far as supports go, Yep. She's just very good at getting people out and rooting people and sustaining and being long range, which beats up on those types of supports that we saw played in the last meta before preseason. Mm-hmm. So Xerath and other mage supports that are relatively long range. I've seen people try to play Zyra into Senna as well, just try to throw out the roots and let the plants harass as well. So mage supports may be the answer into Senna. We'll have to see.
Could be. You got to open up your mind to all sorts of different possibilities.
Might just be Misfortune support again.
Dude, I'd say, China's playing Corky Top for a reason, right? They're trying to experiment with different things too, and hey, it works in different scenarios. You got to keep your mind open to figuring out different solutions, and we're seeing lane 0, they're taking that approach to this game, and they're at match point. So, they don't have a lot of pressure on them inside of this game because they do have a little bit of a cushion. However, you got to think they want to go ahead and clean this up 3-0 now that the roster that we saw in the semis is here. and could possibly be a huge threat for them, since the whole entire strategy could possibly flip it on its head.
And we'll see if Chuck T decides to continue to have the Ignite on the LeBlanc, because LaMelo will look like he's taking Teleport on the Akali. And as the timer runs out, it looks like it will remain with the Ignite versus Teleport mid lane. And, you know, Akali's used to take mid lane Ignite all the time when they were playing mid, and just Teleport when they were top. And people are just like, you don't even need Ignite to kill people. Just take Teleport and be useful elsewhere. So that's what Akalis do now.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct on that. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now. Gus, you know, we don't have cameras here or anything like that. But you know, there's something about us. And you know what it is?
What is it?
We look good. We look good. We look exactly the way everyone wished they could. You know why that is? It's because we got the hottest of apparel from Set Their Sits. Set Their Sits is apparel in the leading esports apparel company, providing on-demand printing for groups of all shapes and sizes. Set Their Sits apparel designs comfortable and stylish for professional esports organizations and collegiate programs, as well as your very own Upsurge esports. That's right, guys. You can get the freshest of Upsurge swag. Why aren't you getting it? It is so fresh. It looks so clean. It has nice colors. I like the Upsurge colors. I think I've said this publicly many times. Upsurge colors, top tier. But if you want premium esports clothing and would like to support us at the same time, be sure to head over to Set Their Sits Apparel at settheirsitsapparel.com. / that's the slash that angles itself to where it starts from the bottom and goes up. Collections / Upsurge - that is not the person dash, but just the actual figurative dash esports. Once again, that's settheirsitsapparel.com / collections / Upsurge - esports. Check out our Set Their Six apparel today and rep Upsurge esports or your favorite team in style. I know that me, myself, I might have to go over there and see if they got anything from Maryville after seeing that they're going to be in the Tyler 1 Classic, because, you know, I think Maryville's just going to clean house over in that. But that's for a talk for another day. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to make sure we take ourselves a short break and get ourselves ready for our next game, which could be the final game here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Game 3 and what could possibly be the final match of the night. We have Lane Zero over here on the red side at match point, and over on the blue side, we've got the side of Maelstrom picking up their roster from semifinals. My name is Travesty. I'm joined here by Gus. Let's get into it.
Yep, match point, and we've got Take One on another early game champion. Zeta not on Olaf for the first time all series, so we'll see what he's going to be able to do with that. But there's 4 people up here.
Oh, they got the stun. They
Stun
got
after
the
stun!
It is Neo just getting jumped onto immediately here. They are not done yet. That
Wow.
flash has to get blown. And that is 2 flashes that they are going to love to be able to take up. Yet another stun to come on out here. You can keep on chasing, but they have no ifs, ands, or buts for you here.
Yeah, and the only bad thing about that, one, Revenant flash to try and land it, but he blew more flashes. Also, that Take One started with Cocoon. That will slow his clear down somewhat. It's not the end of the world, but it will put him behind a few seconds compared to if he was able to just have W and Q for the first 2 levels. So that's something to keep in mind. But having the top side flashes blown is big because Ornn, even though he is unstoppable when his W is active, is still susceptible to being ganked at times. And, you know, with Aatrox's ability to push out a wave kind of gimped this last round of nerfs he received, Ornn will likely end up pushing into him. So something that has to be played around is Neo needs to be very careful.
I do want to ask you a quick question. Graves actually took Fleet instead of the Conqueror. I've seen a lot of professional players actually playing a lot of Conqueror Graves jungle. How are you feeling about that choice there?
I mean, that's what you used to take, was Fleet back in the day. And I've seen them take Stormrazor, and some of them even go Stormrazor into Static Shift just for the AoE chain slow to let them walk up and keep autoing. So, you know, Fleet is fine. I haven't played Graves a whole lot. I haven't seen felt the difference between Fleet and Conqueror, so I'm not exactly sure. I imagine it's pretty good as well, but you know, they're on the back foot. They don't need to be doing anything crazy, so I guess he's thinking he's not going to be fighting that much, and that Fleet might just be better just to keep him topped up.
Could be exactly what they need. A little bit more damage, a little bit of pokey poke coming on out here in this bot lane. This lane is being shoved in favor of UTA here over on the blue side, and the bot side at the very least. And we do have a ward that spots out Graves here over as he's jungling over towards the top side.
Yeah, Revenant ran up, placed that ward, very good. So now Take One can go in and invade on him as he's doing Gromp before blue, it looks like. Oh no, he's doing blue. Okay, I didn't actually look, I looked at minimap. But here comes Take One, sweeping on in, looking for this invade.
And he's looking for it. He recognizes his Fleet Graves.
I don't think he was spotted.
Yeah, he was not spotted at all in this. LeBlanc has moved on over, but LeBlanc is moving to help him with scuttle control because they've been contesting it so many different times here. Now they're going to jump onto him. He is caught out. Take One in a bad spot. Pop the chain. And that is first blood going over to Chutty.
Yeah, and what a difference a lane makes. You know, in top lane, Chuck had a very rough time last game. This game, playing a champion like the LeBlanc, he shows up mid lane and gets first blood and still just gets a fantastic trade-off onto LaMelo Zakali.
Is doing absolutely phenomenal, and I feel like that was a little bit of miscommunication there. They could have called for that as soon as the LeBlanc went missing, but they didn't think that they were going to show that level of respect. And I can show you, UTA, they've done their homework now. They've scouted him. They have downloaded the package, the Lane Zero DLC.
Yeah, the chain will land. No Ignite to follow up. Ignite was used on Take One. If not, Chuck could have probably went in and tried to finish off LaMelo there and gotten off to a great
they're
start.
looking for more here, though. Jetsy's dropped down so very low. They're not going to be able to get the kill onto him. It's going to be unfortunate for Neo. You're going a little bit too ham, buddy. The tower is going to be enough to finish you.
Yeah, I mean, he was dead either way. But that pull definitely made it to where he couldn't land.
Look at Fred! Look at Fred! The Cocoon, the stuns! He gets chained up and taken out. He lags behind his Senna and pays for it dearly.
Yep, now Kieran Zeta on the run, trying to get a little bit of vision in the river, but Take One was already one step ahead, waiting in the tri-brush, and poor Fred comes in for this game and gets shot, covered up by a cocoon, and stunned by an orb of crazy magic.
He didn't join this match for this, man. Not like this.
Oh, LaMelo!
Oh, LaMelo has the flash arrow. That was absolutely his life.
Definitely. At this point with a lost chapter, popping that mark, yeah, that was probably it for LaMelo if he did not flash there. But, you know, CS-wise he's even, but he's building the MR, the Null Magic Mantle, just to try and survive in this lane, because honestly, he doesn't really have a hope to out-trade unless Chuck T just completely whiffs. Like, if he goes into Distortion and misses, then LaMelo can probably try to win a trade. But until that point, just look, even with the Null Magic Mantle, just half his health gone, just like that.
Yep. He's absolutely just getting jumped onto. LeBlanc is unforgiving when it comes down to magic tricks, and right now Chuck T showing he is not one of those magicians that chokes on their own napkins. So that is absolutely fantastic for him. LaMelo getting jumped onto yet again and having to use that shuriken to get up out of there. So I'm not going to go ahead and hit, but there's a TP over in the bot side while there's a gank in the mid lane. Chuck T is going to find himself going on down. Take one's going to be able to pick up that kill. Now on the back side is Redden just kiting away, destroying the HP bars there. Fred is trying to do what he can to kite this one on out. It's just Dark Lord Matthew. Redden does not care about it. He wants the kill on Secure. He's going to be able to get the kill on him. Now LaMelo's over here in the mid lane, going to go down to Zeta, but Fred, he's stuck in this cove of danger and no hope as double kill is going to come out as Redden makes an excellent use of his TP.
Yeah, Fred walked for miles in that pit of danger, and he was all alone. He walked alone. Revnon teleported down, got it. Neo will get a plate in the top lane, but compared to being 3-0, oh, that was LaMelo's teleport. Never mind.
No.
But still, 3 kills on Aatrox. Definitely exactly what the doctor ordered for him.
Naka coming out. LaMelo, you need to be a little bit careful here. Remember, Graves, he just killed you, buddy. He's going for you again. He smells blood in the water. Oh. That's going to be collateral damage, and that is going to be a kill going on over. Redden flashes on forward. He wants this. He wants to get another kill going his way. He's trying to jump in. He wants the 1v2 here to finish everything off. But LeBlanc is coming up in the area. Everybody else is running out. They are going to go ahead and just reset this one on back to their way.
Yeah, it always feels bad when you play Graves and someone gets away with 1 health and you have to use your ult. You're just like, fine, I guess I will kill you. You should have died before. Because, you know, you always just want to kind of leave it just in case of something else. But, you know, getting kills on Graves is good. And Zeta's having a better start to this game than he did on his Olaf games. 2-0. Did have to expend his flash to pick up the kill mid lane. But, you know, whatever. Got 2 kills. He's got his warrior done. He's looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, this is looking great for him already. It is a very, very big turnaround from how the last game was, like you were just talking about. And he's looking like a whole new player at this point in time. Looking very comfortable playing his Graves at this point in time. We do have to keep an eye on how he transitions this. And oh, LaMelo finding Zeta again, or did Zeta find him? LaMelo, I don't think you win this, buddy. I think we found this out. He is going to go into the Shroud. He's trying to see if he can. LaMelo uses the Shroud expertly and is able to pick up that kill.
Yeah, I mean, nothing for Zeta to do there. He used his Q, didn't quite hit it, and you know that's one of the frustrating things about playing against Akali, is that you can do everything right and just still lose the fight just because she can become invisible, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Sometimes you just look at it and she's just invisiblessed at that point in time because she's blessed by invisibility, and it just becomes a feels bad situation. Something that's kind of unnoted that we haven't talked about really. Look at Aatrox yet again here, 3-0-0, same start as what game 1 was actually for him, and he had quite a huge impact in that game. Gonna have to keep an eye on him and how he transitions his lead that he's gained from getting these early kills, as at least is able to use that to get a Herald.
Yeah, interesting to see this Herald priority. Gonna take it top lane, it looks like. Ornn gets pulled back in while he's dashing out. That looked really funny. A little bit of bounce house right there, but the Shroud is down this time.
Chain is going to connect. LaMelo, he's like, no, not the Graves, not the Graves. Dark Lord Matthews looking for something. That's going to be Lelouch just plugging away on Senna, but Fred is left all alone, and Bodas is going to be able to pick up that kill.
Yeah, and things just seem to be falling apart around Maelstrom yet again. Aside from the jungle mid, the side lane's just not having fun times, and even the amount of pressure Zeta is putting out is not the same amount as Take One is able to put out. Got some plates down with that Rift Herald, and now probably going to try and transition over to the Dragon, which is a Cloud Drake, which would be fantastic, especially since Akali's ultimate got those cooldown nerfs. Having that extra CDR on it will be fantastic for the side of Lane 0 Inferno. And we'll see if she ends up going towards it after clearing these bot side camps.
Yeah, and that will be the question to take note of inside of this, is how this pressure is going to continue growing for them, and what is going to be UTA's answer here, because they do have a Graves and a LeBlanc that are doing much better. I feel like you have that core roam around. It could be a very interesting concept for this team. They're able to get that to breathe some life into the side lanes.
It could be, but LeBlanc has a really hard time shoving out the wave against Akali, because she can just spam Qs until she's out of energy, and that will clear most of, if not the whole wave, especially once level 9 hits.
No, that is going to be the double stun combo. Cure is going to go on down now. Take One looking to try and get another kill possibly here. LaMelo going for that long Naruto run right at Chut T. Not going to be able to get anything else out of it. Didn't believe in it hard enough, I guess. As Melo now getting jumped back onto. Chuck not going to be...
Here comes Revnon, though. Looking for a dive, maybe? Nope. Heading back on out.
Stun landing onto Zeta. They know where Zeta is now. But Drake is the idea. There are pings on it. And both... Well, actually, Neo's the only one with a TP. Revnon does not have his TP up yet.
Yep, gonna use the coin to force out. Fred's gonna die!
He's getting cold and taken on out. Chutty's going to be able to pick up that kill on LaMelo as well. But geez, oh geez, now Ornn is TPing over here. He's trying to get into range for the dragon fight. That's going to be the Drake going on over that.
Oh, the stun!
Drake. They get the stun, not to come on out. It's just going to be a lot of damage coming on in. They get Graves stunned on up. Lots of damage coming in, and
General still available.
LeBlanc is going to get that one. Bodas going to get the LeBlanc that overextends a little bit too far. And Senna is still looking to push on forward. That is going to be him just firing off that ultimate. Not going to be able to get that kill. But Rednan's
meanwhile,
top lane.
Yeah, and, you know, they invested a lot. They did pick up a kill, but, like, it's still just, you know, you give up so much. You let this Aatrox that's already ahead get all the rest of those plates. Working on the last one as we speak. They missed out on the Dragon, so the Dragon went over to Lane Inferno, which is fantastic for the Akali, like I was talking about earlier. And even though Neo is playing the Ornn, you know, he got his ult interrupted. That could have been way better for the side of Maelstrom had he not gotten his ultimate interrupted. Would have landed a 2 or 3 man knockup for sure there, and would have allowed Zeta more time to get in and start autoing.
Yep, and now Zeta finds himself in a tricky situation. LaMelo does no chill. He just constantly goes into jungle. He's not afraid. And it's just going to be Zeref glacking away from the outside. American Sniper, right of the Arcane, whatever you want to call it. Dark Lord is there to play. He doesn't even have to be in your lane anymore. This is all part of his strategy. He doesn't even need to go all the way into lane. He just ults.
Yeah, and this seems to be the kind of strategy Lane 0 runs. Is they like to have things that can follow up from long range. The Senna Vel'Koz comp that we had earlier, and Zera's support now is able to just follow up from such a long range away.
Yeah, they feel very comfortable. They look very comfortable as they're playing this inside of this composition. Neo using the Bellowing Breath to make sure he can't get pulled on in. This composition, we do have to look and see. When you look over on the side, UTA, they do have some huge tankiness that's going to come out of this Ornn right now. You see it right now. Revenant trying to chunk away at him, but isn't having much success at chunking away on that thick boy.
Yeah, no Black Cleaver just yet, and with Ninja Tabby on the Chain Vest is pretty tanky as far as armor is concerned. But, you know, having just a single tank can be very useful for a team comp. Relying on double marksman in the bottom, or triple marksman actually, since Graves, I don't know if you consider Graves one anymore, but here he comes, forcing the flash.
Yep. Jumps on in, gets the flash off of the smoke screen, so going to be very good for them to be able to do. Ping's coming out saying, me, but Chut D is the one that needs assistance. Beautiful cocoon! Now Take One is having to play a game of Guess Me. He's going to guess right on to Chut, but Chut is going to be able to throw it on out. Now it's going to be the word ended that's going to be used. That's going to be the call to force.
Double knock up!
Be able to chun stain him up. And they're going to be able to pick that one on up. A clean dive in the top lane. And all of a sudden, UTA, Maelstrom, they turned the switch on and they are looking on fire in some of these lanes.
Yeah, things are looking a lot better for them now, and Zeta.
Yeah, Zeta's gonna be in a tricky spot. That's gonna be him.
Lands the knockup.
Neo gets the knockup. I don't know if that's what you want. He got minion blocked there. Neo.
Here comes Akali.
Forced the flash, and here comes Akali. Gonna be able to get that shuriken throw. It's gonna be able to jump on in.
Oh my lord!
Mellow, what the hell?
Landed the shuriken toss. Used the second Akali ultimate to execute Zeta. The mark was still on Neo Restoration. Flips right on back, doing backflips over the wall, through the river, back to Grandma's house we go. And now Neo Restoration and Zeta have to respawn.
It feels like LaMelo just said, hit my music, and just went nuts there, man. Like, that was insane from him. Playing Akali the way it's meant to be played, and he is not afraid to make plays, even when behind. What you love to see. Now he's getting jumped onto yet again, and it's going to be Chuck just getting that on over. Not going to be able to guess right on that distortion back. Akali did flash there, so LaMelo getting punished every time we see the LeBlanc versus him.
Are all of LeBlanc's kills onto LaMelo? Has Chuck killed LaMelo every single time?
Yes.
Like, it's just crazy that Akali can be against something that isn't LeBlanc and just look untouchable. Walk back mid lane and just get one shot. Like, it's crazy.
Now imagine if LeBlanc roams. I mean, it's starting to seem like a situation.
It's like Jensen at Worlds, where he'd play LeBlanc and just kind of not be able to roam and not push out lanes and stuff. Because I don't think I've seen him anywhere that hasn't been mid lane or around the dragon at all. I don't think he's gotten a single roam off yet.
Yeah, he is. He's not playing top lane anymore, but he still feels like he's playing kind of in that island play style when you are playing top lane, you're kind of in a side lane, you're not really doing much. Instead, this time he's just stuck in mid lane, and they're fine to just rotate around him. LaMelo jumps back in. Doesn't get the damage that he wants to, but they're looking to jump back onto him. Damage coming on out. They're going to turn around. Zeta gets the collateral damage, but Dark Lord with the barrier plays. Now they're looking to turn this onto Zeta. He's going to be rushing away. Dark Lord wanted to get some revenge there, but is not going to be successfully able to get it. Pure does not have his ultimate available to him. LaMelo is going to find out Zeta is going to jump back onto him. Gonna use that shuriken to get in there, and he's gonna live and be able to pick that kill up, and the Drake goes over all the same to the side of lane 0.
And now we have Mountain Rift, so no Ocean Drakes up for grabs. Only Mountains left, which is still fine for the side of Maelstrom, considering they have the Ornn. And, you know, if Ornn has all this extra armor and MR, and let's just say hypothetically they get 4 Drakes, that's a ton of extra stats. But Revenant in the bottom lane.
That's a huge knockup that's coming on in. They're going to be able to get that damage. Take one's going to be able to pick up that kill, while in the mid lane, that's going to be shut down as LeBlanc's going to be able to pick that one on up. Pure now running for his life, but it's not going to be enough. He is going to get eviscerated by the Blade of Aatrox.
Yeah, and the bottom lane of Maelstrom not having a good time. 2 and 8 so far. Not having a fun time at all against this Lucian Xerath lane. And they weren't even really poking. It just comes down to all the engage, and Chuck, he still does so much damage.
He's looking to just kill. He doesn't care about anything else.
He's popping all over.
Chuck T looking so clean, and he is just all over. Dark Lord will claim your soul. You have proven worthy to be a sacrifice to the Dark Lord Matthew.
LeBlanc does not have enough dashes to get away from 3 people surrounding her in a triangle pattern like that. At least not without her passive fooling someone out there.
That just felt like the one person who's just showing off in gym class. He's just right.
It's like when you play dodgeball and you got people on the baseball team on your team.
Absolutely. It's just like he dodged everything so perfectly. It's like the Zeta getting jumped onto. It's the battle of the marksman. There's your answer. The superior marksman won there. Both has picking up that solo kill very quickly. Oh jeez.
It harkens back to when Lucian was considered just worse Graves, and then he was considered better Graves after he got buffed. So it was Graves against better Graves, and better Graves won there.
Yeah, Better Graves came out there, but you know what? When you're 6-1-0, you damn well better be Better Graves.
Yeah, he even built Ninja Tabby because he doesn't need the attack speed, just relying on his passive and the AD from his spells. And now he's got the Infinity Edge and the Essence Reaver. Now he decides he's probably going to go build a Zeal item. He might even not. He might just go Storm Razor for all I know.
I was about to say, does he go this, or does he go for something a little bit defensive to help him survive LeBlanc, or does he just say, she's going to kill me anyway?
Probably a good idea here, but if he just wants pure AD, he could go Storm Razor.
Yeah, could go for it. Dark Matthew, farming up those chickens. Don't see a support doing that every day, but hey, sometimes you are hungry for some chicken.
When you're Xerath and you're building a Luden's Echo, or maybe something with the Lost Chapter, you need some golden.
Yeah.
Support items don't do it for him anymore.
He hungers for other things. The support role is just not enough for him.
Now we finally do see Chuck T go into a side lane, but it's not on a roam, it's just on lane assignment here, now that Caitlyn has taken up residence in the mid lane. And there's a 3-man party down here to greet her.
Yeah, yep, Chuck T does have the ability to juke around, as we have seen. Is going to try and do that, is going to be able to get out. And congratulations, you spent all those resources, that time on the LeBlanc, and she's out of there.
But what can Maelstrom get in return? And the answer is nothing.
Oh, the return is they're going to get stunned up. Zeta's going to get popped.
Oh, the shield and the heal.
Lateral damage. And Sana showing why Sana is so freaking good. The World Ender has been popped over here in the bot side, looking to just push Chuck out of the lane. Don't want him coming in to help his teammates out. But yeah, that's what you were talking about earlier, man. Sana doing some crazy stuff.
Oh yeah, did you see the Storm Razor on the Graves? That slow that got put down onto Dark Lord Matthew when he tried to retaliate there. The slow combined with the fleet footwork just does a lot, and we got a teleport coming down here.
Yeah, there's a CT coming on in from LaMelo. They do get the flute tower down here in the bottom. Kira's going to find himself getting bursted and taken on out. Cupcakes are being put down in the area. LaMelo is going to jump in with perfect execution, but is it going to be truly that perfect? It's going to be Ornn looking for the Forge to help call the Forge God. Not going to be able to hit anybody else with that, but Melo is on the backside yet again. He's going to get popped. Chuck is going to be able to get him, but it's
Bodas!
Bodas is looking for more. The right of the Arcane is going to be able to laser shots into this Ornn, and Neo Restoration goes on down, and Lane Zero come out on top.
Yeah, it took them a while to take down the Ornn, but when he's the only one left, it doesn't matter how long it takes to take him down because there's no one else doing anything.
Santa's just got bursted right at the very beginning of that, and it just led to a chain of events where everything was all over there. It was hard to keep track of anything that was going on.
Yeah.
So many
Zeta died. I didn't see where. I just saw the kill feed pop up that he died. I didn't see exactly where he was at, but they're going to claim this Mountain Drake. And something that, you know, Senna players, or I guess just support players in general, need to treat Senna like she's something like the Soraka or a Lulu or something. You know, or not necessarily Lulu, but something with no mobility, like a Nami, you know, where you only have your little speed up and bubble, you gotta land the bubble to live. That's kind of the way Senna is when you're positioning and trying to rotate places. You gotta be safe because you can get popped just like that.
It's like you said, the itemization that you go for changes up so much. Oh, LaMelo wants Cure. He said you might have left the mid lane, but I haven't left you. Still looking for more to get damage, and they defend Cure with their life.
And that is one thing you have to be careful of as LaMelo or Revnon, someone who's going to try to dive in here, is that they have a lot of tools to make sure that when you dive in, you're not going to accomplish your job. The exhaust, the Caitlyn traps, you know, stopwatch and Zanya's against Caitlyn pretty much means you're going to get trapped.
He's going to be able to pick up that one for himself. The call of the Forge God's coming on in. They want the rebuttal.
Landed it.
With that, that's going to be the Shadow coming on in. The ultimate to look to get the snipe. Zeta's trying to kite his way around this fight. The Peacekeeper goes out, drops the release very low, and it's going to be Lane Zero. They are on the run here. They are having to retreat, and this is Lane Zero. Really, for the first time in this series, feeling like they are completely on the back foot at this point in the game.
Yeah, and, you know, they do have very strong people. Revnon and Bodast are very strong. 5-1-3, 8-1-1 respectively. But Dark Lord Matthew is always at risk of being popped by Chuck T. You know, it's like in Season 3 when your supports barely have items, they have to spend all their money on wards, and there's a Zed and an Ahri chasing after them the entire game. That's kind of what it's going to be like for Dark Lord Matthew at this point. He's just going to need to sit way back. He can't ward by himself because he could be blown up by Chuck D or Zeta at this point. He's going for a Zeal item now, so he's going to have some crit chance built up. And if he hits Dark Lord Matthew with a couple of crits, he's probably going to end up dying too. Does have a stopwatch now, will probably go for Zonya's. But if he's not quick enough, he'll get popped by Chuck T instantly.
I gotta say, when I'm looking at the scoreboard, one of the things you talk about Chuck T actually being just bursting people, his score tells that story too. 10-4-0, not a single assist, because there's no way for him to get an assist because he just undeniably annihilates the HP bar of whoever he decides he wants to jump onto. Look at it! He jumps on the bow that misses everything and completely counters it, but...
Still took a decent chunk. The Q still did a good amount of damage, but yeah, you know, Chuck T needs, and the sad thing though is that it gets harder and harder to pilot LeBlanc as the game goes longer and longer, because once teams are grouped up, it's so hard for LeBlanc to find an entrance to pick off a target, and it might come down to double distortioning into the middle of the team and getting back out. But when you have Cocoon and Zerasun to look worried about...
Take one, he's gonna get the kill on the Zeta. Zeta initiated that, but he got immediately stunned, didn't get caught off guard. Now Bodash trying to get some damage onto them underneath that tower. Not going to be able to get anything too extra there. Chucky's going to look for it. Takes one. Goodbye. Take two next time.
All the Forge guys failed what they really wanted.
That mountain is coming into handy for this Ornn right here. Plenty of walls to ram his head into.
That was something I was casting for another league yesterday, and my co-caster told me, Hypertension, you guys probably know him, but he's telling me that one of the champions that's when we're spikes when it is Mountain Rift is the Ornn, because there's those extra rocks and extra terrain for him to land knockups on. That him and Poppy both benefit very much from the Mountain Rift. So that's something to keep an eye on in these fights in the jungle. Not only are you fighting in corridors against Ornn, there's extra nooks and crannies for him to stun you on.
He didn't have to create his own pillars. Goodbye, Lord. He is going to go down, I believe. Oh, there it is. It just had to throw enough ultimates at him.
Alright, so he doesn't quite get one shot through barrier.
LaMelo. He's going to be caught out. He's in the shroud. He's trying to get a kill to return it all back.
Oh, the trap!
Caught inside of a cupcake trap. I hope it's tasty. I hope it's worth it. Fred picks up that kill on the LaMelo. Now Zeta going a little bit too ham. He's going to go down and take one. Picks up a kill on return there. Zeta was feeling himself a little bit too much. Now they're jumping onto Cure to try to get the kill back onto him. Redman's going to be able to jump him back over the wall, and Cure is going to be able to heal himself up. Knockup's going to be able to connect onto the Aatrox. He's retreating on back, and that is going to be a tower that will end up going down. And
yeah, Maelstrom saying this series isn't over just yet. We still have some fight in us. However, this Drake's up now and they're backing, so they're just going to concede this Drake, which would give Lane Zero the soul if they're able to pick it up.
Yeah, that's a little bit strange for me to think about here. I mean,
especially with the shield, it kind of counteracts what Chuck T is able to do, so they need to do something to try and stop this.
Yeah, they need to. They're running over there as fast as they can. I don't know if they're going to be able to...
It's gone!
It's just absolutely gone. That is a soul. That is just very much so just bad.
Yeah, now Xerath has an extra 200 health for Chuck to try and burst through.
All right, LaMelo.
Okay, well, he can still do it.
He survived for a little bit longer there. I guess that, you know what, it worked. I mean,
and that was someone with Merc Treads.
he didn't die in one rotation of spells that time. Oh, wait, here we go. Okay. Yeah, LaMelo was almost still killed in the mid lane there.
So Chuck T still very much a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, wait, hold on. They're looking for them. Take one caught out. He's in a bad spot. He's trying to jump away. He goes ahead and pops the hourglass. The cupcake is there, but Fred, if anything, he is got
Aatrox in the back.
Pastry perch chef, but now Fred is going to find himself in a bad spot. That's the knockup. Lots of damage being put onto Fred. Called the Forge God in the back. Going to be able to get that onto Bodash. But Aatrox is going to find himself going on down as they just tunnel all the damage onto him. You can get all the shields, but if you can't peel, they are going to take advantage of you. And that's going to be them turning onto the Baron here.
Something I just noticed. Photos has both Phantom Dancer and Hex Drinker.
Oh no!
So
Those don't work together.
I mean, they still give you stats. Like, he still gets the MR, and he's still going for Maw, it looks like. But only one shield goes through, and it's the Phantom Dancer shield. So he must really not care that badly. Otherwise, he probably would have realized it by now. I think he's just saying, you know what, I just need the MR. Like, just the plain shield isn't enough. I need the MR behind it. And, I mean, I guess there's no real reason for him to get a QSS. Unless he randomly gets caught up in a center route or something. So, Mercurial, not exactly ideal. So, I guess just doubling up on passives is fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those situations.
Uh-oh, LaMelo.
Here goes LaMelo. Is he going to be able to survive this one? He does survive it for a little bit.
Whoa!
Oh, he got the kill!
Akali. That's all it needs to be said.
The Mountain Soul makes a difference, man. He survives the full rotation of spells, so I guess now, when it comes down to the two of them, he can outplay the LeBlanc in the side lane now. Yeah,
I mean, hard to argue with it. He still had Zanya's too if he really felt the need for it. So, you know, normally Zanya'sing when against Caitlyn's bad, but if Caitlyn's not there, it seems fine.
Fourth guy coming on out, not going to be able to hit onto anybody. Take one is in a bad spot there. They're going to use the repel to get himself a reset into this fight. Trying to get the knockouts, but Fred is going to be on a killing spree, being able to pick up that kill. Aatrox goes on down. LeBlanc will be up in 5 seconds, and it looks like they may want to continue the pursuit here. They do have Baron buff. Remember, Baron buff will not last for that much longer here. Mia really wants to get ahead and jump forward onto them while they have the numbers advantage here in the mid lane.
Yeah, it does land the slow from the smoke
Lord.
screen.
Shot down very low. They're going to be able
the center route!
They got the stun back onto him, though. Zeta's going to find himself going on down for this. Support for Jungler going on in. And now Bycast, he jumps on in, getting more damage onto Cure. Root's going to be able to connect onto Akali. LaMelo has the Mountain Soul back onto him. You got to watch out for Chuck. Chuck can lay out a lot of damage and burst one person from 100 to 0. They are going to back it on up.
And the way this game is turned around is exactly why you need to prioritize those dragons, because when you give up souls, the game gets warped. Just having this shield has delayed Chuck from being able to one-shot people the way he was before.
Hey!
At least when they're, you know,
on the
full health.
Oh, no. Did miss the shuriken toss. Don't think you want to go too far for that, Melo. Melo has to use that perfect execution.
So Chuck can still kill people when they're not full health, but when they're full health with the mountain shield on, it definitely becomes harder for him. But now, Elise does have Banshee's Veil, so making it even harder for Chuck. But he's still making it work, and they're up in gold now.
LaMelo trying to do some cheeky stuff on the side. You gotta think, if you're the side of lane 0, what does lane 0 need to look at doing here to kind of regain the momentum in this game?
They need to wait for about 1 minute and 20 seconds, and then they'll be fine.
Sounds like your plan. I'm guessing that means you're saying they need to wait for Elder to drink on.
Yeah, Akali could legitimately kill everyone at once with the Elder Drake. Like, if she's able to get in the middle, Q people, and ult through them all and bring them just below that threshold, it will be a fiery explosion of death, and they will win the 3rd place match in one of the most epic ways possible.
Zeta is in a situation over here, over the wall. They do realize that this is a Drake that they cannot leave up.
Yeah, however, it is a double-sided sword, because even though Maelstrom does not have a Drake yet, they can still get the Elder Drake and all of its benefits, including the execution power. And the way Chuck's been playing, it looks like he might be able to pen to the entire team too.
Yeah, yep. Double distortion on your face. I've heard some people write fanfics wanting that, but this game will prove otherwise.
That's where that other subreddit comes in.
That's where the other subreddit comes in. Yes.
So Zeta has Infinity Edge now. It is upgraded by the Ornn as well.
Alright, they're looking to jump onto Aatrox. Not going to be able to get too much else out of it. TP was forced. LaMelo wants to be around here for this. This fight could very well decide the game because it decides the fate of the Elder Drake. Who will start it up? LaMelo goes in a little bit hard there. Immediately jumps on back. Does not want to deal with that. Call the Forge guy coming on in. They're looking for the fight. Zeta's going to find himself getting jumped onto in the backside here. They want to see what they'll be able to get. Revenant gets a huge knock up in the backside, but it does not matter as it's going to be so much damage coming on back in. Zeta's going to be able to
take one's down. Melo's down.
There's a double kill coming on out in UTA. They are cleaning up this fight. Vadas is on his lonesome here trying to kite this one out, but Chuck D is out for blood. Vadas, you're about to become a subscriber.
He's just going to delay him.
On my face as Chuck T is going to do just that.
Wait, why does he have Mountain Soul when he's dead? That's not okay.
Listen, man, you can still have a soul when you're dead.
I don't think that's how that works, but Maelstrom finding that miracle fight they needed, gonna take down this inhibitor. They can turn back. They're just gonna try to end the game. Looks like they have the minion wave, and Vadas isn't coming back.
Yeah, technically there is well, I mean, it's just Chuck is just being a nuisance. It's like a mosquito poking around at him, except the mosquito is like a tactical nuke.
They're all responding, but I don't think it can
going
end.
on to Neo. They're going to try and jump onto him. The tower is so very low. They need one more auto onto it. There's a right of Arcane. Vadas got to rejoin the fight. He ran all the way back to base. Chuck
got him!
Is going to be able to fit that one up. He distorts on away. They're still not done. That is a double kill to come on out. And this game's not over.
Yeah, Zeta needs to be the hero and steal this Elder Drake. Otherwise, the game and the series might be over.
What a twist.
Yeah, they got a little greedy there. They probably could have just taken the Elder, gotten the inhibitor, and not tried to end, and they would have been in just as fine a spot because they're actually up in gold as Maelstrom. But down in Dragons and this Elder Drake, Zeta's in the area. Can he steal it?
Zeta's here. They know what side he's on. They know about where he's going to be at. They are going to jump back on. They're just going to obliterate his HP bar. They are going to jump over there. That is an ace, and that is going to be Elder Drake. And beep boop, beep boop. It is time for combat. Comeback mechanics have been activated.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to call it a comeback, but technically they are down in gold and even in kills right now. So yeah, comeback mode activated. They're gonna, looks like they're gonna get vision on Baron here and probably just try and bait, force a fight unless they just want to do it.
I think they just want to do it here, man. I don't see one reason why you wouldn't, because who is going to stop you at this point in time? Nobody. Look at Akali just playing defense. Yeah, get your blue buff here. He is able to get it for his sake, but that is a Baron buff, and they're going to reset, and this is an Elder Drake team coming out. Zeta's looking for a back door, it looks like.
Oh, just placing a deep ward for the eventual backdoor attempt, I think. But there's a Nexus tower still, so it's just not going to work.
This could be spicy. Yeah, there's nobody. You're going to send your Ornn there? Yeah, he'll be able to tank it and hit away, but if you dedicate your Ornn to a back door, your team fight is sure to fall.
Yeah, especially with Elder and Baron. All these free stats added on due to their... Oh, Chuck's on a ward.
Yeah, Chuck is on a ward. He is going to get jumped onto. This right of the Arcane can absolutely decimate his HP bar and put him in range for that Elder. This is a terrifying time. I feel like they got to give up this tower.
Yeah, defending a tier 2 at this point in the game is not worth it. They might just lose the game and the series trying to defend this.
They might just. And this tower is going to go on down. And gonna be able to get that. And looking for something here. Chuck is going to jump onto LaMelo. The Ignite ticking away. Call of the Forge God's going to be used. Has to go golden on LaMelo here.
Oh,
he's just going to go on down. Curious going to be able to fit that kill on up. And
wow, that chain went really far.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's so freaking true. And we got a backdoor happening on the backside of this. We got ourselves a regular old base race coming on out. CP's going out onto the backside here. Vadas is going to be looking to jump on back. They are using Zeta and they're using Neo. They're going to try and try and end the fight. They're going to try and end the game. There's so many members that have gone on back, and it is just going to be Neo looking to fall here. And these are big members gone.
Yeah, it will force them to be back all the way, though. The thing with that is they had Baron. They had the Baron timer. I forgot that they had Baron, honestly. Otherwise, they might have been able to do it. But Revnon teleported back up. They did expose the Nexus, though. So the threat of another back door is still available, but that inhibitor will be up somewhat shortly. So they went for it all there, and they might end up losing because of that.
Yeah, that was a very, very risky move. They tried to go for something with Elder Drake on the opposing side. Inhibitor has gone down. They are marching it on down. You got 15 minutes until your main tank comes back alive. Renan's not done with you. He wants to get another kill. He's going to be able to find it. Renan's going to be able to pick up that one. They're going to jump onto Cure here. They're going to be able to get another one going on over that side. Now the net is open over here. It is lane 0 looking to try and end this one on out. Baron buff is still around. They're still got it clacking away. Elise is going to jump over to the other side, and lane 0 make their comeback, and they pick up the win, and they are your third place winners here.
Yeah, that game was a little bit crazier than we were expecting considering what happened game 2, but the new roster came in from the side of Maelstrom and made it quite the game to watch. But in the end, the Dragon control really paid dividends there. And Maelstrom gave up that 4th Drake. They decided to take a reset instead of just trying to do it. And they 100% gave it up. And then during the Elder, they gave that one up too. Tried for that back door. If they didn't have the Baron backs, it would have been a lot closer. They might have been able to eke it out without the Baron backs, but with the Baron backs, there was just nothing they could do except try to turtle and wait it out, and they decided to go for something, so good on them for having the guts to try and do that. But in the end, just that Dragon control, it's the name of the game right now.
It's insane, man. Like, you look at that game and look at how the performances went all across. I mean, this was a completely different team here coming out for the most part. Everybody was switched around to different lanes. We got to give a shout out to Cure. I feel like even though Chuck was like playing out of his mind as LeBlanc and killing people and bursting them, Cure was the real MVP. I mean, he was supporting everybody, giving everybody exactly what they needed. But at the end of the day, I mean, Bodas played a great game. Take One had great objective control, like you were talking about. Revnan, you were talking about having guts. Revnan was always running face first into anything that he possibly could find. LaMelo did stuff in the late game, and then Dark Lord was a Dark Lord, honestly.
Yeah, there for a while he was kind of Chuck's punching bag, but he figured out and stayed way back for the rest of the game. Even when they were ending the game, he was still
distortions.
he was still running back from base when they were ready to end the game. So he definitely learned his lesson. He needed to stay away from Chuck and just found a way to make it happen. So congratulations to Lane 0. And even congratulations to Maelstrom for making it this far. You know, how many teams didn't make it even into playoffs? So congratulations for both these guys on a rather successful season. Sad for both of them that they didn't get to make it to the finals. But, you know, 3rd place match, a decent consolation prize. And they gave us a good show.
Yeah, they definitely did. That was a great show. And with that being said, I do have to ask you, it's a 3rd place match. Who's your MVP here?
I mean, Bodas had fantastic games the whole way around. He popped off on the Senna. LaMelo got the Vel'Koz ban. So it has to be one of the two of them. I'm just going to go with Bodas considering that it's the bot lane party meta, and he outplayed it and just had a fantastic series.
He played
for
solo a majority of the series.
Yeah, like in game two, he was up 50 CS and just chilling in a 1v2 lane. Like, he had a fantastic game. But, you know, Dark Lord Matthew definitely dominated that game too. Even though Revnon was the one on the Darius with all the kills and everything, it was Dark Lord Matthew's Alistair in that game that really just pummeled Maelstrom that game.
I can't help but agree there. Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you guys all for joining us here at Upsurge as we finish up our end of the broadcast for the UCL. It was nice. It was the freshest of contendees here. And you know what? I wouldn't have wanted another series to end it off on for Upsurge's broadcast. However, we are going to throw over a host over to the side of, I believe it's over on First Blood's channel. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but we're going to see the first place match. It had a little bit of a delay, which is why we did the third place matchup instead of the first place matchup. But damn, I'm glad that we did. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, have yourselves a great night, and we'll catch you tomorrow for UPL finals. So be sure to tune in.